Today, we are looking at YouTube channels. We are doing free YouTube channel reviews so that we can help you, kind of demystify what's going on with YouTube as it relates to your channel. Maybe we can give you some tips on things that you can do better. And this is 100% free for you, on behalf of TubeSpanner, because TubeSpanner is a tool that helps content creators with a ton of different things that the other tools don't help you with, because, everything's got its own purpose and all that good stuff. So if you are not familiar with TubeSpanner, for those of you that are here, you can try TubeSpanner for yourself at tubespanner.com. Of course, we got links to that down in the description as well. But just to give you a really quick heads up on what it is, they have an AI script writing tool, a tool that'll help you with your titles, a way to where you can share your content to other social media platforms directly within the YouTube interface without having to leave the platform. All kinds of really helpful tools that, like I said before, they're filling in all of the gaps that the other tools don't have and trying to come up with additional things that other tools don't have as well to help you grow your YouTube channel and work more efficiently with what it is that you're doing. So because of that, go check that out when you get the chance. But we are going to be doing channel reviews today. As if this is your first time, being in one of these channel reviews, how this goes down is we have a tool that I'm going to be pulling up on the screen here in just a second. I'm still in the process of kind of getting everything sorted here, coming over from the other stream. But basically, how this is going to work is I have a little giveaway tool, and basically I mention a hashtag, and then once that hashtag is dropped into the chat on your end, then this is going to collect them, and then it's going to randomly pick somebody out of the chat. So once it picks you, then I'm going to pull you up on screen, and we're going to go through and we're just going to give you some tips and advice on things that you can do better with your YouTube channel. What's up, Brian? Hope you're doing awesome, my dude. Nice to see you in here. So we're going to go ahead and just get this party started right out of the gate. So really quick, as we're getting going here. So when it comes to these channel reviews, who here is just interested in, in getting their channel looked at? Like, who here needs some feedback on their YouTube channel? If that's you, just say me in the comments. All right. So, okay, so we got some people here. So I'm just going to grab the first person that responded to that, which is my first channel ever. And I'm just going to go to your channel really quick. So, so currently it looks like, so it looks like you don't have a lot of content on your, it looks like you do have a little bit of content here, on your channel. So right out of the gate, just as a heads up, I'm just giving them this one, before we get into it. I'm just going to give them one really quick tip. And that quick tip, of course, in your case specifically, is I really recommend that you do get a, just figure out some type of channel name for what it is that you're doing. And I saw that you do have a lot of variety content on here, meaning that the content that you do have on here is kind of scattered in terms of no real focus for the channel itself. So because of that, you'll get views on this stuff and all that, you'll be able to do the thing. But if you want everything to happen faster, then in that case, I recommend, dialing in that aspect of things and trying to just get an understanding of, what it is that, you can do to target a very specific audience with your content. So I just wanted to get one up there really quick, just because they replied first, to go ahead and get that in there. But the stream right here, the hashtag that we are going to use is, of course, on this very first one, is going to be TubeSpanner. So all you got to do here is just put in the hashtag, and then once that hashtag is in there, then we're going to collect the entries, and then it'll just pick somebody randomly here, and we're going to pull your channel up on screen. Now, just as a heads up, for those of you that have never, been through this before, I do have some qualifiers. So as an example, if I pull up a channel, kind of if you've been in this before, you've seen this happen. But basically, if I pull up a channel and there's just no clarity at all, or, I can't figure out what it is that they're doing or something like that, it's either not going to come up on screen, or it's just going to be up there for a short amount of time. And when I look at them, I'm just going to go through some best practice things, because, of course, for anybody to really give you a really great amount of information, they would need stats access. But of course, we're not going to be able to do that in the stream, but I'm going to give you information based on what it is that I see from the outside. Okay. And in addition to that, it's always best, because the things I'm going to be sharing with you are just based on best practices and all of that. And when you are really trying to thrive on YouTube, it's important to remember that the video content itself, which is something we're not going to be looking at, the video content itself is the thing that is going to, move the needle for you more than anything. It's going to be your thumbnails, your titles, and the video content. So you have to make sure that even with all the things that we're going to be talking about during the stream today, that you focus on those 3 things, because that will move the needle for you more than anything else that you can possibly do with your YouTube channel. So, because of that, I just want you to be aware of that, because today we're talking about, optimizing the channel and making it easy for people to find content and, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the draw button here, and we're going to see who is the first channel to pop up. I'm still like coming down off the news thing here. So give me a second to kind of get in the zone. So right out of the gate here, we have Rosie Montoya. So I'm going to pop open a YouTube window here, and let me see if I can find Rosie real quick. Let's see here. Rosie Montoya. Yeah, hey, and really quick, thank you for that, Danielle. So Danielle is in here on the TubeSpanner YouTube account, just kind of giving some tips and suggestions and stuff also here in the chat. But one thing that she mentioned that I forgot to mention is that for those of you that are already TubeSpanner users, this would be a great time to get your notepad open. So as I'm going through all of this, you can be like, oh, let me make some notes and make sure that I'm double checking all the things that he's recommending to this other channel, so that we can make sure that, you're taken care of there as well. And if you're not familiar with that particular feature. So TubeSpanner is a browser extension and it's a website, but the browser extension has a notepad in there to where you can watch YouTube videos and you can take notes on them. You can download those notes, to your computer, or you can save them inside of TubeSpanner, your call. But it's great for watching live streams like this or any type of educational content to, to make sure that you're taking notes on everything. And as a part of that, if you leave and then you end up coming back into the video, let's say tomorrow, then in that particular case, it's going to also have the information from that stream in there, from that piece of content that you're watching. I use this particular tool to actually study competitors. So I'll be like, hey, this is where they're, this is how long their intros were. This is like a specific thing that kind of grabbed my attention in the intro, things like that. And I'll go through the video that way. But I found Rosie here. But again, you can check that out, TubeSpanner, tubespanner.com for that. And we're going to pop this up here so we can get Rosie taken care of. So this is a first impression thing, Rosie. So how this is going to work is I'm going to, pull up your channel here, and then I'm going to look at it, and I'm just going to give you some thoughts based on like, okay, I'm trying to, figure out what's going on, those types of things. So here we go. So right out of the gate, I would definitely add some clarity to what's happening up here. I see that you have these bottles, but let's say that I came in on one of your videos. The advantage of adding clarity here to your channel banner, again, this isn't something that's going to make your channel blow up by any means. This is something that makes it easy for people that are already interested in your content and that are exploring your YouTube channel. It makes it easy for them to understand that the content that you're putting out, or that the content they just watched is still current with what it is that you're doing with your YouTube channel. It's also helpful to where when somebody watches one of your videos, when they land on this page, it helps them get context instantly on exactly what it is that you offer. And the reason that's important is right here. Let's say that I watched this video on making rosemary juice mix, right? If I've only watched that one video and then I clicked on your channel name and then I landed here, then I have to start like trying to figure stuff out. Right? Like I have to, okay, what other videos do they have? Like what's going on here? Instead of, if you had just some text up here saying exactly what it is that you're offering, I don't know if you're focused on juice. I don't know if you're focused on like health related food. I don't know if you are talking about the science behind the juice or if you are showing people how to make the juice, right? So because of that, when you add that type of clarity, it just helps the viewer more easily understand what it is that you are, what it is that you're doing with your YouTube channel. Next up, one other thing that I want to bring to your attention, I'm going to zoom in on this one because it's kind of hidden a little bit. So right here, you can see how you have, hello there, I'm Rosie. So glad you stopped by. Here you will find some, and then it truncates here. Okay. So this feature on a mobile device you probably already have it optimized, right, for mobile, but you can see here on desktop, because this is something they've recently added to desktops. So right here, you can see that it gets cut off, right? So because of that, you're wasting screen real estate with the hello there. You can have Rosie in there if you want, even though it's here and it's here. This is a better use for this is just saying like, this is what I do on the channel, right? So it's like, smoothie recipes, if that's what you're doing, smoothie, healthy smoothie recipes, helping you make, the most delicious and healthy smoothie recipes, right? Of course, you got to make sure that you're within the character count there. But the idea there is just to add that additional clarity, just like we were talking about in the channel art. But when it comes to that, another thing I want to bring to your attention is, let me zoom out, is if we go to your About Me page, you can see here how that text is pulled directly from here, in case you're wondering, like, where's that pulled from? So one thing that's also important when it comes to this particular area, and this is for everybody here to understand as well, is when it comes to this particular area of your About Me page, the thing that you have to keep in mind here is when, let's say that I were to take your YouTube channel and I was like, hey, I'm going to share this out on my Twitter account and just show everybody this channel because it's amazing, because I've learned how to make so many amazing recipes here, right? What's going to happen is if I were to share that on Twitter, share it out on Facebook, and share it out on LinkedIn, each one is going to show a different character limit of this first, bit of information here at the top of the screen or at the top of your description. So you want to make sure that you are crafting that in a way that adds some type of information for the people that you're targeting with your content, so that if I were to share it, then in that case, what would happen is people that were interested in smoothies and things like that happened to see that share, they would see that bit of information and then they'd be like, oh, I'm into smoothies and stuff. Let me see what this channel's about. Versus, hey, I'm Rosie, so glad you stopped by. You know what I mean? So then that way it ensures that you are, effectively using that area. Let's see here. So next up, I'm just going to do a quick check here on your channel page. Okay, so right now, let me check really quick to make sure that you have a decent amount of videos, and you do. So right here, and we're going to use that same scenario of me watching one of your videos, right? And we'll actually go through the flow. Let me make this full here so we can see what's going on. We're just going to pick this one right here. And we're going to say, just to show you like what this looks like, let's say that I had this video up right here and I was like, wow, this is great, man. I want to see more of her content. I click on your channel name, I land here, and then I'm looking for more content, right? I scroll down and I'm like, okay, so now the only content that I currently have access to in the immediate, right, without having to do an additional click, is this right here, right? And then of course the shorts that are down here. So because of that, you're missing an opportunity to organize your content in a way that makes it easier for the people that are interested in your type of content to find what it is that they want from you. Now, of course, some people, they'll just skip right to the videos tab, and then they'll go through this huge mix of the mess that this is when it comes to the content here. Like they'll, like, hey, if I'm trying to find just things that are made with, like vegetables, not fruits, then in that particular case, I got to sit here and I got to start digging through your content and trying to find it, right? But if it was here and it was like, fruit smoothie recipes, vegetable smoothie recipes, hybrid health food recipes, things like that, then what's going to happen is it makes it easy for them to find the content that's the most important to them, and then they'll go into that content and they'll start watching videos back to back. But right now, you're leaving it up to them to click on the videos tab, or hopefully for one of these pieces of content here to be relevant. Another thing to keep in mind is as you start doing that and you start, kind of adding those playlists to your channel as your content gets filled out more, because I see that you had at a glance there that you hadn't uploaded in a while, and then you just started uploading again. So as you start filling out your channel page like that, I would also consider making sure that if you are going to keep your shorts on this page, that they're all the way at the bottom, okay? All the way down there at the bottom. So out of those are some things that I definitely recommend that you do right away. But let's talk about something that's more important here. And that is your thumbnails and titles. We're going to take a look at those because these are things like, thumbnails and titles are things that can make a really big difference for your YouTube channel. So right out of the gate, I love saying that. I don't know why, but right out of the gate, if we are looking at this particular thumbnail, you see here what I learned juicing in the name J2 plus 4 tips to help you be more efficient at and then it gets truncated. So first, it can be very helpful to make sure that your titles fit within, or at least the most important parts of your titles. And this is for information for everybody here, that most important information is within that character limit. Okay. So what you want to do is there's sites like, I mean, you can see this when you're actually uploading videos. I know TubeSpanner has it in the Upload Assistant, YouTube has it in their system, but you can also, if you write your titles, in advance, then you can go to onlinecharactercounter.com, and on there, you can just start typing it out. And if you make sure that your titles are within like 52, 53, 54 characters, then you should have everything that you need to where your titles will be nice and succinct and easy to consume anywhere they're shown on YouTube. Okay. So because of that, I would definitely consider that with your titles. Also, when it comes to your thumbnails, you're doing the right thing here, showing the actual juicer, but what you're really doing is you're putting a lot of emphasis over here on this text. So one thing that I would experiment with your content is I would definitely experiment with like more image focus and less text focus. Just experiment. You might find with your type of content that people respond better with the text, but if you can just get really good shots of the, juicer that you're using, or if you want to do this far out version here, we have all these little pictures in here that are really hard to see, even at a big size right here. Then if you're going to do something like that, maybe panel it to where you kind of feature the juicer here. And then maybe you have a little line going here and you have like green juices here and then something else here. And then with those, try to saturate them a little bit in your editing software. If you're using Canva for this or whatever it is you're using, trying to saturate them a little bit so that you can kind of use the fruit and vegetables, the color within them as a way to just kind of make them more vibrant and all of that. But when it comes to text on thumbnails, I see though, just to be, fair, I mean, granted they've been online for a while, but like right here, technically I shouldn't have been looking at this because you haven't uploaded in 2 months, because normally part of my requirement is that you upload, on a regular basis. But when it comes to the videos where you do have all of this text in here, though, they do have, 1.9 and, 1.7 thousand views on them compared to these that do not. Could be the video content, itself, could be the thumbnails. Not sure. You'd have to go in and look at your click-through rate. But what I recommend that you do, since you do have some thumbnails that are out here, is I would just start experimenting. Like I'm going to do some where I'm just focused on the imagery, and I'm going to try to make them look as good and enticing as possible. And then the next ones, I might throw some of that text in there. Also, here you have the juicer review, unboxing, juicing, how to use. So what you want to think about when it comes to your titles is this is okay, but you don't want to get carried away with just listing things in your title, right? Like try to communicate your titles in more of a natural language, because, that's how we, think about things when we're, just interacting and when we communicate in general. So because of that, just try to make sure that your titles are, that they're done in that particular way. But other things here, like, key points on juicing, on how juicing is good for the body. Again, this is a year ago, so I'm sure you're a lot more up to date with, the skill sets and stuff now. But like, you should just be focusing this on the juice, not obstructing the imagery of the juice with this text, right? Like it might look okay when it's like big on your computer screen, but when it's actually deployed on YouTube, it's important to understand when it comes to your thumbnails that the thing that you have to make sure that you're keeping in mind is that your thumbnails are there for the purpose of grabbing attention and either causing somebody to click right there or having their eyes drop down to the title, and then they go into the video from there. So because of that, I would definitely start doing that. Let's see here. Okay, so the next hashtag that we have, add to stream, is TubeSpanner extension. That's the next hashtag. So if you're just joining us, this is all free. What we're doing is we are looking at YouTube channels. We're giving you some tips on, some things that you can do better. I spent a little bit more time on that last one than I should have. So I'm going to try to get through them a little bit faster so we can get more people pulled up on screen. And I think the thing that I'm going to focus on more is how clear is it when I land on your channel page? And then we're going to start looking at your thumbnails and titles, because those are the things that are going to move the needle for you. And the information that I said on that last channel in terms of organizing playlist on your channel page and all that stuff, that is things that now so now you can go and do that stuff. And then from there, we're going to start looking at, the thumbnails, titles, maybe some other things, related to the channel. Okay, so I'm waiting for a few more of these to come in. And the reason I use TubeSpanner extension for this is because we've got a ton of TubeSpanner users, but when it comes to the extension itself, not a lot of people are actually crossing over the extension. We're approaching around like 1,000 people on that one. So because of that, I just want to just make sure everybody knows that if you are somebody that's using TubeSpanner on a computer, they do have an extension where you can share your content out directly without having to leave YouTube. You can schedule your content to go out there. In addition to that, the extension has an upload assistant, notepad. It's got a thing that embeds your thumbnail into YouTube's homepage so you can see what your thumbnail looks like on the homepage compared to other videos to make sure it grabs attention, things like that. But you can find all of that at tubespanner.com. All right, here we go. So drum roll. I need to get a drum roll sound here in my machine. So let's see here. One Step, my man. Okay, so let me pull up One Step here and see what's going on here. Let's go One Step as one word. Okay, so here we go. One Step in the house. So One Step currently has 13,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel. So congratulations to you for your success. So here, take it one step at a time. I see that you have all this game imagery on here as a first impression. I would also add, I think this looks super cool. Like it looks, like professional. The text and the styling you have on the text, like everything looks amazing. But one thing that I would do is I would just be clear on what it is that you're doing with games. And the reason for that is just like what I talked about with the last one. If somebody watches one of your videos and they land on your channel page, it just tells them what it is that you actually offer. Because here I see that you have fighting games, top fives, tier list, news streams, gameplay, and I'm going to guess that says more or something like that. So you kind of do some of that lifting here. So you don't necessarily have to do that. But if it was me, I would try to make it just a little bit more clear there for the sake of, the people that do land there. But love the channel art. But as we scroll down, just a quick thing here. I'm just making sure that you are driving people into your streams. You are. Okay, full playlist. Okay, so one thing just to know, when it comes to your playlist titles, make sure that you're thinking of if somebody were to see this recommended to them in like a sidebar on YouTube, and the only information that they had for this playlist was Multiverse's full playlist, how could you make that better so they could have context? So for example, like, is there certain things that you're doing in here to where you could make it like a like what did you do? Hold on, it's shutting down, top worst characters, Morty top tier, insane, Valentine's event update. Yes, like multiverses, like events and updates or, something like that. It just adds a little bit more clarity there, right? That's the idea. So, you know your space, more about this game than I do. So just thinking of it from that lens of like, okay, if this were to be recommended somewhere and the only way people could make a decision to watch this is from that playlist title, what could I do with that title to make it a little bit more compelling versus multiverse full playlist, right? So now let's look at your actual content, see what's going on. See if you are doing shorts at all. You are. Okay. Good. Seeing if you're live streaming. You are live streaming on a regular basis. Love it. All of this is good. What it's like being a gaming YouTuber, live Q&A, if you like fighting games. So one thing that I recommend is this is one of those situations where when you are doing the game, is thinking about your target viewer. Okay. So we're going to talk about like something serious here. Okay. So this is, like a bigger concept than just making like effective thumbnails and titles. This is actually targeting the right people. So if you are doing gaming content, you're doing like, playing all these different games and sharing things with the games. One thing that's important to think about is even in your live stream titles, you want to make sure that it's clear that you know who it is that content's for. So if you are reaching people or trying to reach people that are interested in the games, then in that particular case, I wouldn't make it about like, hey, this is what it's like being a gaming YouTuber. I would still make it something about the game, right? So like when it comes to content decisions or the content that you're putting on your channel, it's important to make sure that you're thinking about, okay, if the target viewer that I'm trying to reach is going to see this on their homepage, how could I optimize this in terms of thumbnail and title in the best possible way to, one, grab their attention, two, compel them to click, right? That's your job as a YouTuber. So thinking of it through that lens of like, okay, what can I do here? So in that particular case, what it's like being a gaming YouTuber, might be interesting to a lot of people, but it might not necessarily be interesting to the right people, right? And it's really important to make sure that you're publishing content that gets you in front of the right people that are also likely to enjoy the other videos that you have on your YouTube channel. So because of that, just when you are optimizing your videos, even your live streams, I would make sure that you are just intentionally thinking through, like if I'm trying to reach gamers interested in this game or these types of games, then how can I package my live stream or my video up in a way that's going to help them identify that it's about something that they're interested in with the thumbnail, and then that I can compel them to click through the subject that I'm putting in the title. I'm going to go look at your videos tab here really quick. Actually, first, just do a quick thing here. 19 hours. Okay, so you are doing this. Stay strong. Which of these games? So you're doing some engagement things here. This is good. Just crossed 3 weeks ago. Congratulations. Okay, so one missed opportunity that you have here is you're not linking any videos. So typically, just as a heads up, you see the engagement that you're getting on these. So, images, polls, things like that, they typically, will generate engagement. And it generates engagement within the feed itself. But one thing that you can also do is you can use your community feed as a way to pull people back into your channel. So a lot of people won't put videos in their community feed. And I don't know if you are this way, but a lot of people won't put videos in their community feed because they think, well, people have already watched those videos and I don't want to be like spamming people with those videos. But instead of thinking of it that way, if if you think that way, or anybody that's watching this, if you think this way, what you want to think about is you want to think, okay, not every viewer is going to watch every video on my YouTube channel. Some people are just signing up, they just are watching my content today, or they just started watching it last week, and they likely haven't had a chance to watch all of my content. So therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a video and or playlists in my community feed from time to time so that these will also show up on people's mobile feeds, on people's home pages. And then that's an opportunity for you to pull people back into your content. So you can start, the viewing experience on your channel by adding some videos in your community feed as well. So when you are making these posts, just consider, occasionally on a regular basis, sharing video content or playlist links that go into a series of videos for that content. When it comes to the videos themselves, oh, and by the way, when it comes to tracking that, what you want to do is when you are looking at your community post stats, you're going to see that the video posts, when you're sharing a video, typically get the lowest engagement, and that causes people to not want to use those. But the way that you actually look at the engagement for those is you actually look in the stats of that video. So you look for spikes in viewership in your stats on the video itself. You do not look for that engagement in the community tab itself, because even though people will engage there, the actual activity happens from people clicking on the video and going in and watching the content. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're looking on the actual video itself. So Multiverse is shutting down, but coming back 2024 is still king of platform fighters. You strive from a beginning perspective. I think your titles are fine. Like I think your titles are fine. You're featuring, the actual videos themselves. I think this one's a little difficult. I would definitely try to make them more prominent, like you are doing with this one. Like one thing to think about is, if this shows up in a mobile feed, it's probably fine on like a mobile homepage. But when it comes to suggested videos, depending on what people are watching them on, they can show up pretty small. So because of that, I would assume that this probably isn't going to do that fantastic and suggested. If it ends up in the next up spot, then it would be fine. But in terms of people seeing it and that being the video that pulls their attention, I'm going to guess that this one probably isn't going to perform well in suggested videos just because of that, because everything here is just so small to where if it were to be recommended next to another piece of content, it'd be really difficult for that to grab your attention next to something that maybe had like a, character in it or, something like that would actually stand out to the viewers. So I would definitely do that. But I think your titles are fine. One thing that I would experiment with is like here you have, why Smash Brothers is still the king of, platform fighters. You know what? I actually think that's fine. Why Smash Brothers is still the king of the platform fighters, or maybe, this is why Smash Bros is still the king of, platform fighters, something like that. Make it more of like a statement, in terms of, your opinion on that, when it comes to the titles. But I think that in this case, definitely work on the thumbnail. I think this one's actually, okay. I'd put more emphasis on multiverses versus shutting down, because again, the idea is to grab their attention, but you are kind of doing that here, even though it's obstructed a little bit from the, from the no sign on there. This is for like a mobile feed. This is definitely something that would, help them identify that. Worst characters in V1. Yeah, this is another one to where just adding a little bit more, attention to the multiverse, or making it a little bit more clear with the character. So here, right, 13 days ago, 378 views. This is one of those chances where I would go in and I would experiment with this, and I'd be like, hey, let me change this up. And instead of having this outline, let me actually put, what is this? Is this Rick? I think in here. So let me just put like Rick in here and see if that increases my click-through rate. Maybe make multiverses a little bit bigger, worst characters in 1v1, make that part a little bit smaller, and just focus it on the emphasis of the things that people are emphasizing, the things that will help the people you're trying to reach identify that this is something that they might care about. Also, you have this one here, 9,000 views, this one here, 11,000 views. Both of these are Street Fighter compared to Multiverse. And I'm sure you have this information on your channel, in the back end. We got a 666 view on this. But one thing to mention here is, since you are doing different games, since you're doing, Multiverse, you're doing Street Fighter, and it seems like these Street Fighter ones, 2,000 views, 23,000 views, 850. So, not as much on that one, but 9,000 views, 11,000 views, like right out of the gate, at least in your recent content. It looks like Street Fighter does better than the other stuff, at least from that particular view. So one thing that I recommend that you do is, when it comes to your analytics, so every YouTube channel has a grouping feature inside of your YouTube analytics. That grouping feature is great for situations like this, to where you are taking your content types, right? So you're like, okay, I'm going to do one group that is multiverse. I'm going to do another group that is Street Fighter, another group that is, something else. And what you can do, that is Guilty Gear. And then what you can do is you compare those against each other, and you can quickly start to see which content consistently performs better, and then you can use that information to more quickly achieve the goals that you have for your channel. So for example, when you are using the grouping feature in your YouTube analytics, you will see, and I have a video on my main channel, I have a video showing you exactly how to get into groups and some information that you can pull from this. So make sure to check that out for some clarity if you need it. But the idea is to where you can compare these against each other, and you can say, which one typically generates more subscribers if you're trying to increase your subscribers. So if it was Multiverse, and you see that as a content set, it typically generates more subscribers on average. Then in that particular case, if the goal is to get more subscribers, then I would say, okay, then let me make more of that content, because that typically drives more subscribers. If your goal is to get more views, then you would say, okay, which one of these typically drives more views based on what I'm seeing in this group when I'm comparing them against each other. And then if the goal is to get more views so you can get more ad revenue, then in that case, do that. If the goal is specifically ad revenue, then you can say, okay, well, I'm going to mix the content that's getting more views with the content that typically generates more ad revenue based on the ads that are being ran against it. And then you start, doubling down on that content for the period that you're trying to increase your ad revenue. So the idea is to make sure that you are, taking that approach, so that you can more strategically navigate through, the content that you're publishing in order to achieve your goals faster. So we're going to move on to another channel here, so we can, give more people a chance to get up here. So the next giveaway or the next channel review, and by the way, if you're just joining us, what we're doing is we are looking at YouTube channels, and we're giving some tips on things that you can do to improve. This is 100% free, thanks to TubeSpanner. And with this, excuse me, let's see here, is awesome. So with this, we've got TubeSpanner's awesome is the hashtag, but all you got to do is put in the hashtag itself. Once the hashtag is in there, this system that I'm using here from StreamYard is going to start collecting those hashtags, and then I'm going to hit this draw button, and it's going to randomly pick somebody out of the chat. If you do not get your channel picked during this round, just a heads up, we're going to be doing more. But if your channel doesn't get picked during this round, please pay attention to the information. If this is like your first time participating in one of these, please pay attention to the information that I'm sharing with the channel that we do look at, and just kind of, cross-reference it with what it is that you are, what it is that you're doing with yours, so that you can make sure that, you are filling some of the holes or taking the right approach with what it is that you are doing as well.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
I need some custom audio stuff for this one. Okay, so here we go. We're going to draw Drew project. I just saw your face in here. So let's see what we got. Okay, 80s guy is the channel. So let me pull that up here, see what we can find. Oops. Let me do that again. Okay, let me go to YouTube and let's go to 80s guy. Okay, popped up quick. I was actually thinking that that'd be pretty hard to find, but it's not. Okay, so let me pull this up here. Let me just do a quick check. Okay, so you're doing like street view stuff, just kind of walking around, I guess. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So I'm just going to go full screen here so we can see what's going on. So first off, you definitely need clarity. I have no idea what's going on here. I don't know if you are like walking through some of this stuff, if you are, I'm not really sure what it is that you are offering here. So I would definitely add that clarity here and or right here. So here you have started streaming on YouTube because every day I get to look at, and then it kind of truncates. I like if I were to watch one of your videos, or let's say I was hanging out in this live stream, which you currently have 4 people hanging out in. Let's say I was hanging out here and I was like, hey, let me see what else they have to offer because this is okay, but I can only watch it for so long. Land on your channel page, I don't have any clarity to what's going on here. And I have to use energy to try to find what's going on. And the reason that that's bad is because, people are, like you have all these other navigation options that people can click on. If somebody's on a computer, they'll see that, people that they know have uploaded content or people they subscribe to have uploaded content, things like that. Plus there's all the distraction in the real world, all of that good stuff. So because of that, you want it to be crystal clear what it is that you are offering on your channel. But it looks like here that you are, you're just kind of like setting the camera in places. Oh, you're driving around with this one. So like one thing that I would consider doing with these, because it's clear that, that you are just like hitting record and then you're just doing your thing. So because of that, one thing that I would try to do is I would try to make a thumbnail of the most interesting thing that you saw on your trip. And with that, hopefully, it would make your thumbnails a little bit more compelling. And here you have, 4K driving on East 100th Street, West Farms, what is this, in the Bronx. So all of this is fine in terms of it just being informational, but there's not really much that's compelling with this. So with your type of content, this is more of like a, hey, this is just something interesting. So because of that, I might go and check this out versus, hold on really quick. Versus looking at it and being like, well, like, I don't know what's going on really with this. Like, not tons of reasons to click on this if it were to show up on the homepage. But some people do get into this type of content. But in terms of it being something that's like, oh, I gotta see this, I would definitely, try to think of, a way to make your titles a little bit more compelling. So there's not much that I can do on this particular one. So I'm going to take this one down and we're going to do another one. But one thing that I do recommend also is, in your case specifically, I see that your most recent thumbnails don't have text in them, but your other ones do. So I would definitely, just start experimenting with that type of stuff as well, just to make sure that, that you can, grab, that you can grab somebody's attention and try to pull them into what it is that you're doing. But yeah, that one's definitely a challenge just based on the content that you have. One thing, just as a quick tip for you, just so, so I don't leave you, just kind of hanging there, is this would be another case where using like your grouping feature and just to understand, like, do people like my bridge content more? Do people like me driving around more? Do people like me setting up a camera in the city and just kind of hanging out? Do people like me walking around with the camera more? So then that way you can at least start kind of dialing things in the direction of highest response that you're currently getting. Okay, so the next one on the list is for the hashtag TubeSpanner22. So if you're just joining us, this is all free. What we're doing is we are pulling up YouTube channels. We're looking at them, giving them some tips on some things that they can improve on. All you got to do, if you want your channel pulled up, is put in this hashtag right here. And then this system that I'm using is going to, read that. And then we're going to draw it, and then we'll pull your channel up.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Then I have this dehumidifier in here, and it makes the air just like super like crisp and dry. So I have to like turn it off from time to time. And like right before this stream is one of those times. Okay, I'm waiting for just a couple more to come in, and then we're going to hit this spinner here. Okay, so Driving with Miles is our next channel. Girl on her passport says it's almost April 2023. Absolutely it is. We're getting close. We are getting close for sure. Let's see here. So Driving with Miles. So let's see what we got here with this one. 8,000 subscribers. Nice work, Miles. That is no easy feat on YouTube. How to pass your driver's test. Oh, okay. So it's learning how to drive. Interesting. Okay. Driving with Miles, driver's education. Okay. So right out of the gate, just some, praise I want to give here is, when I land on your channel page, it's clear what's going on, right? Driving with Miles, driver's education, right? You do driver's education, crystal clear to me, in terms of, what I see there. Here, Driving with Miles, the certified driving instructor for those wanting, so on. I love that you have on here that you're a certified driving instructor. I would try to find, a little bit better use for this, or maybe trying to find a way to make this a little bit more succinct so that you can use this just a little bit better for, additional clarity for what it is that you offer. But, this is fine. But, I would just think like, okay, since I do have this small amount of space and these limited characters that I can use, is there anything that I can do here to make this, a little bit more informative for people in terms of any specifics that you have? One thing I'm going to check here really quick is if you're using this for business or not. Okay, One Scene TV. Okay, so I don't see any links to like your company or anything like that. Give me 1 second. Driving lessons include, okay, so you've got that. You've got the Chosen series. This. Oh, nice. Yeah, my friend is executive producer of this. Yeah, super cool. Nice that you have that link there. So right here, let's see what you have. In-car beginner driver's lessons. Okay, this is cool. So a couple things to think about, which you're already experimenting with here. Actually, first, let me go ahead and just hit a elephant in the room here. Is it looks like you are flooding YouTube with content. So one thing to consider here is, instead of uploading 50 minutes, 2 hours, 4 hours, 15 hours, and then, a bunch another day, I would actually, with these longer videos, I would publish it and I would let it breathe a little bit. So like, publish it, and then the next day, publish another one, next day, publish another one, next day, publish another one. And then that way, for the people that are already involved with what it is that you're doing, they're not just getting pummeled with recommendations, and the system isn't having to decide which one of those is going to be like the best fit, right? So because of that, I would definitely, just like Raggy or Ragey D says here, I would focus on like, okay, quality. How can I, give people the best possible experience here, so that they can, subscribe. They'll want to keep coming back when my content is recommended to them. They'll want to come in and watch more. One thing to think about is that, yes, absolutely, there are channels on YouTube that crush it by uploading like a bunch of videos per day. However, YouTube limits notifications to 3 videos within a 24-hour period. So if you are going to do something like this, definitely scale it back to 3 videos within a 24-hour period. But I really recommend in your case that you do publish just like a video a day. And then that way it gives you the opportunity to put out the content that helps people, and it keeps you from kind of stepping on your own toes, so to speak. Another tip for you is if you are going to take this approach where you're just flooding with content, the thing that you want to think about is if I'm flooding YouTube with content and it's going to be recommending my content to people that are interacting with the channel, and the system is going to be picking the content that's most relevant or most likely for that particular viewer to enjoy at that moment in time, then in that particular case, I'm going to make different pillars of content, and I'm going to make sure that the videos that I'm publishing throughout the day are targeting different people. So then that way, if YouTube is limiting my recommendations anyway, that those recommendations, instead of, all of my videos going in front of one person, that those videos are strategically being put in front of different people based on the topics of those videos. So I would just consider that when it comes to your, when it comes to you taking that approach. Next, driving tips for beginners. This is cool. In-car beginners driver's lessons. All of this is good. I would definitely experiment with your thumbnails too, because you're putting out tons of content, so you can experiment quickly. So I would experiment with this. I would experiment with not having you in here. I'd experiment with not having text and just kind of focusing the whole image just on the driver's license, because that's relevant to people looking for this type of content. Same exact thing here, driving tips for beginners. Here, really, since you're basically teaching people how to drive and their driver's license and all of that, I would consider using something like this in a lot of your thumbnails and just seeing if people respond better. I think this also is another one in terms of, hey, let me, just make it crystal clear in terms of what's going on here. I see that you are experimenting with hey, let me put this person, let me put me here, all of that. And this is going to, over time, you're going to be able to get data here. But I would first scale back a little bit on the amount that you're uploading. Second, when it comes to driver's lessons for beginners, driving for the first time, those types of titles, try to think of how you can be more compelling, because there's probably 1 million of these videos on YouTube, literally 1 million of these videos with the same exact title. So because of that, you need to try to think of something that can help you stand out. Okay. And another thing is, if you are targeting people that are at scale, if you're targeting people that are just learning how to drive, and those people are typically of a younger age group, another thing that I would consider is using people that they would relate to more in the thumbnail to get them in there, to get them actually clicking on it. And then, once they're in the actual content, then, introduce them to you. And then that way, you're kind of relating to them a little bit through the packaging. But when it comes to the title, driving for the first time, right? So that's okay. It's informative, a gajillion videos on this, but, 3 things you should know before you drive for the first time, right? So in that case, that starts at the video level, right? So there, 3 things you should know before you drive for the first time, or, 3 things, driving for the first time, 3 things you have to know. Right? That way, it's not just informative, but if I'm getting ready to drive for the first time and that shows up on my homepage, it's oh gosh, I don't want to crash. I don't do anything wrong. Let me click on this just to kind of see what this is about. Right? So the idea is just to try to make it, a little bit more compelling there with the titles. Informational is a great place to start, right? Because then it's hey, this is what the video is. You're just being transparent. This is what it is I'm doing. But when you add the compelling side to it, that's where things start getting a lot more interesting, because then instead of it just being oh, that's just another video about this, it becomes, oh, I need to watch this. I feel that I need to watch this video, so I'm going to click on it and see what it's about, right? That's the difference. So yeah, so I would definitely do that. And I see that you're probably, looking for, all of these are probably search-based, which is probably why you're flooding it. You probably don't care about YouTube recommendations. You're probably just trying to win on search here. But I want to just let you know that search is a very powerful traffic source, and the approach that you're taking could be okay. However, the big wins come from recommendation features. So in the idea of hey, I'm trying to just flood here so I can get these into search, with that, you're still going to need to be compelling. However, if you are wanting to grow your channel as fast as humanly possible, having some of your content that's going out for search so that you can have that stable traffic coming in from that. And then also, as part of your content strategy, making content that's intended to perform well in recommendation features is something else that I recommend that you do. And by taking that approach, and slowing down just a little bit, I think that you can be more strategic, where in turn you'll end up, getting better results from what it is that you're doing. But I like one thing that I like about you just putting this flood of content out here is that you are, you're like, as these videos start moving, it definitely, gives you some stuff to work with here. But here, how to drive through a car wash, how to drive on a curved road. Yeah, these are cool. Like, I love what you're doing. So, so one thing to bring to your attention, and of course it's not current, but this one is 7 months ago. But like, this video right here has a lot of information attached to it in terms of like what people responded to. So I would definitely go into this video and I would look in like the retention, look at your click-through rate, look at the demographics of this, look where the traffic came from. And this is going to help paint a picture for you on like what it takes for your videos to perform well. So I would definitely, analyze the heck out of all of these top performing videos. And again, I would just scale back, spend a little bit more time, be a little bit more intentional with what it is that you're doing, so that you can, get the most out of the efforts that you're putting into your channel here. Okay, so next up, we are going to do another one. If you're just joining us, what we're doing is we're looking at channels, just giving us some tips on things that they can do better. Just giving them some feedback, because some people, as content creators, who here can relate to this? As a content creator, you publish videos, and the only people that you really have to ask about, like, hey, how does my stuff look? Is this clear? How are my thumbnails? The only people that you really have to ask are like your friends and family, who are probably going to butter you up anyway. Like, how many people can relate to that? So the idea with this is that you get an unbiased view of somebody that's trying to help you. Therefore, I might be a little bit, raw in terms of just being like, hey, you need to fix this, that kind of stuff, which, some people, find helpful. So I'm getting another hashtag together here, but if you're just joining us, we are looking at, channels, and it's free to participate here. When it comes to the channels that we're pulling up, how we're doing that is we are putting a hashtag, and with that hashtag, it is picking people based on the hashtag. So it just randomly picks people. And if your channel, this is the hashtag, we're doing Tube Spanner again. If your channel does not get selected, just so you know, we're going to be doing this again. So we're going to be doing it, we're picking more channels after the channel that we're going to be pulling up is done. And if you are just joining us again, I also do want to let you know about Tube Spanner. Tube Spanner is a tool for YouTube content creators. Tube Spanner, I look at it as like my YouTube assistant, right? So it has an upload assistant that helps me upload videos more efficiently. It has a sharing assistant, which helps me share my content out to social platforms and really just kind of post to Twitter and things like that more consistently. And I can do it all without leaving YouTube's interface. In addition to that, they have an AI script writing tool. They have a thumbnail tool, which she's really been putting tons of work into to really make it a really awesome thumbnail and really a graphics type of tool. But all kinds of helpful things when it comes to your YouTube channel. So make sure that you check out tubespanner.com so you can see how it can help you with what it is that you're doing. But one of the things that I really like is also the social bio tool, because the social bio tool makes it to where you can kind of interconnect your social media accounts. You can check mine out at nimin.bio. You'll see you'll see exactly what I'm talking about there. But it's a really cool tool. I constantly am using it for different things. Oh yeah, and they come strapped with like a whole big pile of like funny jokes too. Where if you hang out in my regular live streams I do on Saturday, then you're already well aware of the shenanigans, the shenanigans with the Tube Spanner jokes. So, okay, so we've got Psycho Talks with Tom. I'm kind of intimidated, Tom. I'll be honest. I'm like, oh, Psycho Talks. Like, well, what's going on here? I'm a little bit intimidated to check out the channel here. Let's see what you got. So let me go to YouTube. And then let me go here to Psycho Talks with Tom. Okay. So I'm just doing a quick check here to see what you got going on the channel. Make sure you're uploading regularly. Okay. So here is Tom's channel. I actually feel way better, like now that I've clicked on it, Tom. So at first I was worried. I was like, man, what are we going to run into here? But I feel way better now. So first, Tom, I would definitely make sure that you are adding clarity here to your channel art in terms of what it is that you offer, because Psycho Talks, like, you know what that means. But, you know, for somebody that is not familiar with what it is that you're doing, it's not clear like what it is that you offer. So here you have increase your education and boost your intellectual confidence by understanding, and I'm that's truncated, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So just consider also messing with that a little bit. On a mobile device, you might be fine, but on desktop, it's currently truncating here, so you might want to just kind of reevaluate what's going on there. That, again, neither of those things are going to like move the needle for your channel. It's just one of those things. It's just kind of like a housekeeping thing, you know, to get it all, you know, kind of sorted there. If you're using this character all the time, I'm not sure if they're in your actual videos or not, but if so, I would put them here instead of this Psycho Talks with Tom. Reason for that is if you look at your profile picture right now in YouTube chat, in the chat right here for this live stream, if you look at your icon, you can see that you can't read the text that's on it. So because of that, you want to, you know, I would just use this character here, just the head, as a way to, you know, just kind of make something that's a little bit unique and prominent there for you. Let's see here. Atomic Habits book summary, how to stop being a people pleaser, elegant character guide. Not sure what that is or how it fits. Introduction to psychology, pretty cool. Understanding the basics of psychology. Ultimate. Okay, so a couple things. So when it comes to your content, I'm not sure if this is like a game thing. I'm not sure exactly what this is or how it relates to the other content, you know. But for me, if I were to watch, like, let's say, for example, because I'm familiar with Atomic Habits, let's say that I watched this and I was like, wow, this is a great summary. Let me click on the channel, see what else they have to offer. I come to your videos page and I'm like looking for things to watch. I don't have any context here, right? So I would definitely rework this thumbnail immediately and the title just to add more context to what it is that somebody might get if they click on this. How to protect yourself from a psychopath. So another thing that is really effective on YouTube, and I'm going to move down to this thumbnail right here. Another thing that's really effective on YouTube is emotions. So if you are doing a video on like how to protect yourself from psychopaths, oh, this one, is this a book summary? Okay, so this is another one to where you can see how it's getting truncated, and I'm not really sure what's going on here. Because I see the book in here a little bit, I think this might also be a book summary. If it is, then I would make sure the idea that it's a book summary is within the character limit. Put it within the first 52 characters so that it's there before it gets truncated. And then people will have some clarity there on that content. But two things. One, because emotions are, people respond to emotion. If you are going to talk about, you know, protecting yourself from a psychopath, then I would use, I would get like stock photography of somebody that's like worried or freaking out or scared, something like that. Or I would get a stock photo of somebody that looks like they're kind of crazy and like put that in there. You know, somebody that's like, looks like they're on the edge. And then by putting that in there, you know, people connect with emotions, and that might help you increase, you know, the amount of people clicking on this. But if it is just a book summary, in that case, I would make all of these book summaries, every single one of these, I would make the book bigger, right? Because that's the thing that's going to, one, help people identify that it's a book summary from the thumbnail. And two, that's going to help them identify that it's that particular book. So every one of these book summaries, I would make sure that it's big, like the one that you have here. In addition to this, on this particular thumbnail, I do want to say also that by having the book big like this, and then having the specific background that you chose for this, you see how it really helps this book kind of stand out, right? Personally, I think this character is a little bit of a distraction, but you might be doing that for like branding purposes, or maybe it's part of the content. Let me see if this auto plays. Okay, it is. It's part of the content. So like that's part of your character. I would definitely get him in the I would get him like bigger and more prominent in the channel art. I would get him like in this as well, his face, because if that's your character, then lean on that character, right? Put him all over the place because he's your branding, right? So since he's already in there, then I think he's okay to leave in the thumbnail, but I would experiment. So it's never good to just commit to something just because. You want to commit to something because you have proven that it works for your content. So one thing that I would recommend is like as your videos start to perform better over time, I would make sure that you are experimenting with like, okay, I'm going to try some thumbnails with him and some without on these book summaries. And if I'm doing it without him, then maybe I'm just going to move this over to the right-hand side. Or if it's the case of like this one, then maybe I'm going to put the book over here, and then I'm going to put just I'm like person having some crazy emotion that would relate to, you know, the protecting yourself from a psychopath or something like that over on this other side. But just think like visually, like how can you communicate that idea that the book is talking about? So with this particular thumbnail, excuse me, I think how you have the book in here, I think that's fantastic. In every one of your thumbnails where you do not have the book as the prominent thing for your book summaries, I would make it the prominent thing right away. I would go through and redo any thumbnail that does not have the book as a prominent thing, because this is going to be that thing that helps people identify it. So again, just as a reminder for everybody that's hanging out, your thumbnails, the whole goal with your thumbnails, let me do it this way. Here, give me 1 second, and I'm just going to, I'm going to do something with your channel here, Tom, or with one of your videos. And I'm going to, here, we'll grab this one. And I just have to do something here in order to grab this that I can't let anybody see for the sake of community guidelines and whatnot. Max Res, click on this. Oh, wow, it's really small. You're also uploading your thumbnails at like a really small size. So, excuse me, make sure that your thumbnails are being uploaded at 1280 by 720 as the minimum, because it looks like they're being uploaded smaller than that. So the thing that I'm going to show you here, let me this all signed up here really quick, is if we go to YouTube, and I'm going to just kind of zero this out here. So I'm not sure how much of this you guys are going to be able to see, but if I click on, this is Tube Spanner I'm using for this, by the way. If I click on this up here, that's going to open this little panel to where I can just like embed any video that, you know, is kind of connected in here, so I can see how it stands out on the home page. But if I go to image, like in his case, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to hit my desktop. I'm going to go find his image here. Oh, great. Where did I put it? I thought I put it right there, but I didn't. Nope, didn't put it in there either. Hold on, give me 1 second. Show in folder. Also, it's in my stream assets folder. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me navigate to that. So stream assets and here. So I take his thumbnail, it's loaded here, and then I'm just going to leave this here. I'm going to put this one so you guys can actually see it, you know, when it's small there. But then I'm going to hit preview, and then you can see it kind of popped up right over here, right? So it just kind of skins the thumbnail and the title like on the channel page. So the idea and the reason I wanted to do this is because if you're looking at this and you log into YouTube and you're somebody that's into, you know, like that type of content, you can see here like how big some of these things stand out. Like with the video that you're watching now, with this one, with this instrument, this person's, you know, face, who, you know, verified channel. So he's got a lot of people that know him. This one, they're focused on Star Wars. This one, they're talking, the TubeBuddy channel here, they're talking about, you know, their shorts feature that they just published. We've got Billie Jean here. We got the dude sitting in the drum set. Here, you can see what I'm talking about with the emotions. Here, you know, it's a focus on the trucks. Here, focusing on Michael Keaton and Batman for anybody that's aware of, you know, what's going on there. So in your case, you're trying to connect with the book folks. So the thing that pulls the most attention in your thumbnail here, when you just pull it up on a screen like this, is your guy in this blue cloud that you have over here on this other information, where you have the ultimate guide to becoming a social butterfly. But what really needs to stand out here, in your case specifically, is the book, right? Because if you put yourself in the shoes, I'm going to assume that you're also, or guess, I should say, I'm going to guess that you are also watching other book summaries as well. And that might be what kind of got you into this. So if you look at other book summary channels, a lot of them, they just put it prominent. And the reason for that is it helps you as the viewer recognize that it has something to do with books. So if you're watching book summary content, you're also going to be getting those things recommended on your channel page. And if yours shows up, like this particular thumbnail, if it shows up on a home page, and then right here, there's another video and a book is nice, big, and prominent there, what's going to happen is that viewer that you're trying to reach, their eyes are going to start up here and they're going to go like this, they're going to go like this, and then they're going to go like this, and they're going to see that. If their eye doesn't just go right down to that because it's something that they're already interested in, and they're going to see that book, and they're going to win that click over you because it's going to be more prominent and clear, right? So because of that, I really recommend, and I know I'm kind of beating on this for a while, and the reason for that is because I'm trying to make it extremely clear to everybody that it's important to make sure that your thumbnails are focused on the right thing for the people that you're trying to reach, right? So if we look at my thumbnail right up here, right, I'm just going to give you an example here. So this thumbnail here, I have my face in it because over 45 million content creators have seen my face, right? So that helps them identify that this has something to do with me and that I'm a part of this. Next, I have YouTube really big in the thumbnail. Reason for that, if you're a content creator, as all of you are, if your homepage looks something like this, then in that particular case, this YouTube logo is going to pull your attention. It's going to stand out to you, and especially the words YouTube, to where you're at least going to go and you're going to look at the title. Okay, you're going to see what it's about. So that's the idea with this thumbnail. So when you are putting your thumbnails together, you have to think of your audience, and you have to think, what can I do to help them identify that this is something that they might be interested in? Okay. So again, I apologize for like hammering on you here with this, but I'm just trying to, make it clear. So I would definitely be doing more of this as the experiment moving forward. And then from there, I would start experimenting with different things that you're doing in addition to the book. So then the book is the star, right? The book's the star of the show. And then maybe the emotional photo pulls attention, or maybe your guy here, as your channel grows and people get more familiar with you, maybe he's going to be the thing that ends up pulling in regular viewers, but the book is going to pull in new people. But I would definitely experiment with that. Another thing that I would experiment with, some people like people. Some people don't watch like animated type content like this. So because of that, I would also experiment with like people in your thumbnails versus the animated characters in your thumbnails, and just see if you end up getting, a better response from one compared to the other. All right. So we're going to do another one here. So let me close all of this stuff down here. And by the way, for those of you that are hanging out, that preview tool was pretty cool, right? With the thumbnails. Yeah, so you can also do that where you just pick from the drop down. You can pick like existing videos to where it's like, oh, let me pick this one and see how it shows up on the homepage, because it just randomizes where it shows up. So you can be like, oh yeah, no wonder people aren't clicking on this. It doesn't stand out at all, right? So yeah, it's a pretty sweet tool. So for those of you that are just joining us, we are reviewing YouTube channels. It's free. In order to participate, because I see a few people asking like, how do you get your channel reviewed? In just a few seconds, I'm going to be showing a hashtag on screen. All you have to do is put that hashtag in this tool that I'm using from StreamYard, their giveaway tool. It's going to randomize all of those hashtags, and then it's going to choose one. So here, let's do. It's hard thinking of like, what am I going to put at the end of it? Okay, so here we go. TubeSpanner88 is the hashtag. So all you got to do is just put that in chat. Again, this is free, for you guys. Thank you to TubeSpanner for letting me do this over here. But the idea with this is you just put it in there. Again, 100% free for you guys. You put the hashtag in there, and then it's going to pick somebody. And then, whoever it picks, I'm going to pull them up on screen. Just as a heads up, there is a qualifier. One, you have to, be uploading content, on a regular basis. If you're brand new and you only have one video, that's perfectly fine. I don't care about that. It just has to be sometime, within like the last week or two. And then from there, it's got to be family friendly, because if I pull it up and it's not, then I obviously can't show it on screen, right? So it's got to be family friendly there as well. Okay, waiting for a few more of these to come in just to make sure everybody has time. You guys got any good plans for the weekend? I'm going to be doing my live stream tomorrow on my channel. By the way, I got a link to my channel, I believe, down in the description. If you are not familiar with me and my content, I have a whole channel that helps YouTube content creators. Okay, here we go. Drum roll. We'll do it that way. And we've got OSR Garage. Hey, I love your profile image. With that being small like that, like you're not going to be able to see it like when it's, in small, like small, but I love the design. Really nice, clean design on that. Let's see here. I hope your like graphics and all that stuff look this cool. OSR Garage. Okay. Looks great in YouTube search though. Fantastic in YouTube search, that logo. All right. So first impression, here we go. So let me make this a little bit bigger so everybody can participate. And also, just a heads up, like hanging out in the chat, if you're like, hey, that wasn't clear to me, or this isn't clear to me, or hey, if you have ideas like, hey, that title, doesn't really make a lot of sense or anything like that, like feel free to, give your input as well, because the whole purpose of this is to, help people out. So if you have feedback, everybody can always appreciate, feedback from people, especially unbiased feedback, right? So informational and fun automotive reviews and news, product reviews and installs, content for modifications, upgrades, and accessories. Sounds good. So you got some merch stuff going on up here. You got links to your channel to subscribe. You got a Facebook link, your Twitter, and join me on Instagram. Okay, fantastic. So just a quick heads up, and you know this already, but just as a reminder for everybody. So when it comes to the links that you put here, make sure that you do prioritize the links that are the most important to you. So like in his case, he has joined me on Instagram, which I'm going to guess is the thing that's most important to him or to them. With the other links on here, you can see how you just get the icons and you don't get a real call to action from this view. Of course, if somebody hits your About Me page on a mobile, they're going to get it. But here, there's no real calls to action there except for that first link. So make sure that you are prioritizing that first link. One thing to consider is selling merch will put money in your pocket, where getting followers on Instagram from your YouTube channel. Yeah, if you grow your Instagram, you can do sponsor deals over there and things like that. It adds to the value that you can offer. But I would prioritize this one if it was me over trying to get people to hot platforms, because it's typically difficult to get people to hot platforms. They definitely can, but I would definitely consider that. Next up, let's see here. Prius 2 weeks ago, that's fine. Videos a day ago, good. You're uploading a lot. Okay, so one thing, I think this is okay because you have the charging station in here. However, I would try to put a little bit more emphasis on this. You have like 1 of 4 working, and you have yet another Electrify America charging station, and then it truncates. So I would try to, instead of having like 1 of 4 working, just do like error and then like an arrow, right? So then you have like one word and then it's just pointing directly to the thing. Because, the charging station people that are, that have electric cars and that are experiencing this, they'll be able to identify that. But just making sure that it's the most prominent is definitely something to consider. And one little trick that you can do for that sort of thing, just for everybody here, is when you have situations like this to where it's like, hey, I've got a lot of stuff going on in my thumbnail. Just a little tip for everybody. One thing that you can do is, there's all kinds, like Tube Spanner, for example, has a background removal. So what you can do is you can use that or any of the other tools that allow you to, remove backgrounds or blur things. And you can cut out like the specific things, that you want. And then you can lay the image back in, like the full image back underneath it. And then you can blur it a little bit. And by doing that, it ensures that the focus is on the thing that's actually in focus. And then the stuff in the background, it's still there to support the image, but it's like blurred out a little bit. So just a little trick there for everybody that's hanging out here. But when it comes to this, there we go. When it comes to your titles, I would definitely make sure that you are, trying to fit as much as you can within that first, 52 to 55 characters. How to replace your accelerator pedal position. Again, this one gets cut off as well. And this is another one where you want to focus on the imagery of the thing that you're talking about. Because here at a small size, I get all this text on here, but I don't really have anything that's going to grab my attention as somebody interested in this content. Because again, when it comes to this, like when we're making thumbnails, let me talk about this really quick. So like when we're making thumbnails as content creators, we're making a thumbnail in an isolated environment where there's no distractions, right? So like maybe the distraction is like, the apps on your phone or maybe the other software on your computer, but really you have that focused environment where you're making the thumbnail to where there's nothing else going on. So because of that, it's like, okay, what do I need to do here? Let me add some words. Let me just kind of fill this space instead of thinking of it from the perspective of like, okay, so if I'm trying to focus this on, this pedal position, then what would be the best thing that I could use here in the thumbnail in order to illustrate this idea? And in that particular case, it would be something related to the pedal. And that might be what you're holding in your hand. I don't know. But that needs to be bigger, right? Because that's the thing that would grab somebody's attention, as it relates to that content. When it comes to the car here, nailed it on the car, because here you've got the car, you have like what kind of car it is, nailed it there, like you're good there. But when it comes to like this thumbnail, there's just a lot going on with no real information attached to it. And again, the thumbnail, it can help tell the story, but as the very first step, it's important to make sure you're thinking about how is this going to help me, or not help me, how's this going to help my viewers identify that this is something that they might be interested in? And you want to focus on that. Another thing that I would not be doing is, at least not right now, until you like dial your thumbnails in and every video that you're making is getting, at least like 1,000 views or more. Then the thing that I wouldn't be doing yet is putting your branding stuff on here. I would be spending the energy right now focusing on the imagery and just going through the exercise, the mental exercise when you're putting your thumbnails and titles together of, okay, for the people I'm trying to reach that are interested in this, how is this thumbnail going to help them identify that this is something that they're interested in? Right? What imagery can I use to kind of pull their attention to that? Then from there, if that grabs their attention and then they look at the title, how can I make that as compelling as possible to get them in here? And then once you run through that, then you want to define it. Okay, what about my thumbnail is going to help people identify it? What about my title is going to compel them to click? And if you can't identify those things or you can't define them, then get back to work, start working on the thumbnail and title again. So one thing that can be really helpful in this scenario is thinking about your thumbnails and titles before you make the video. So then that way you can ensure that the video that you have the idea for, that you can package it properly so that the people that you're trying to reach, will respond to it. And that also will help you make a better video that serves your thumbnail and title packaging that you're putting together as well. Let's see here. But as we keep going, like where you focus on the car imagery, all that's great. I see that you put you guys in here as well. So I would just experiment here on you in the image versus you not in the image. I would A/B test those to see, which ones are going to be the most effective for you there. And then if we look down here at your popular videos, okay, yeah, here we go. So you can see here, focus on the car, focus on the car, focus on the car. The text is kind of messy, but it's okay. You're still focusing on the car, focus on the car. This one's obstructing the car a little bit, but still focus on the car. And then this one right here on the best road trip mode, still focused on the dashboard. I would even make that even more prominent in this thumbnail. So in your most popular videos, these have clues on them in terms of like what's working, for your channel. So I would definitely, kind of use those as a guide. Let's see here. Okay, on shorts. So on the channel page optimization, I would definitely look at the, channel that we started this stream out with and just kind of take those tips on, getting more content on your channel page organized into playlists to make it easier for your viewers to find the content that, that matters to them. So for example, electric cars or, charging station, information, that's one playlist. Let's see here. Yeah, performance cars is another one, or maybe the exhaust or, modifications or something like that would be the other one, and just kind of break your content down based on what it is that you offer and put it into playlists. Hybrid ride along, that's cool. So here, since you are doing the ride along, another thing that you can experiment with is kind of doing like a split on this to where it's like you have the car here and then maybe you have that inside shot that I just saw in the hover over here so that it's clear it's about this car. And then you actually are going to get footage here of us actually driving around in the car. And then that lets people know, that it's, that it has those things attached to it. Yeah. On these where you're putting your faces in here, I would definitely just make sure that you're testing those because sometimes that can help, draw attention because, faces do draw attention. But the crowd that you're trying to reach specifically is car enthusiasts. So if you're trying to reach car enthusiasts, then the car, is typically more effective than the face on there. Let's see. Yeah, some of these thumbnails, yeah, like some of these are okay. First Look Chicago Auto Show. Yeah. So on yours, I think like the biggest thing for you would be really just kind of focusing in on the thumbnails. But another thing as well is like you've got reviews on cars. You have some Tesla information about that. Maybe it's all mostly reviews. Because what I'm trying to uncover here, okay, that's also... What I'm trying to uncover is like, okay, if you're offering all of this stuff on your channel, then like, for example, like somebody interested in modifications, would they necessarily care about the product reviews of the actual cars? People that are interested in modifications would definitely care about upgrades and accessories because that's part of modification. But when it comes to the actual car reviews, I'm pointing to the wrong one. Product reviews, all of this is great for modifications, people interested in that. But for informational and fun automotive reviews and news, that could be going out to a different audience. So one thing that I would also consider is like, which one of those audiences are you like really trying to tap into? Yes, you can put them in different buckets and say, I'm making these for these types of viewers and these for these types of viewers. You can do that. But it can be helpful to, to just dominate something for a particular audience and say, hey, I'm just going to be reaching people that are interested in reviews, or I'm just going to be reaching people that are interested in like the upgrades and all that stuff. That can be helpful in terms of just better, kind of fine tuning the content for the audience that you're trying to reach. So I would consider just kind of reevaluating that as well, just to ensure that like every video that you're putting out is going towards, the right type of viewer. If it's car enthusiasts or if it's people looking for new cars, because, in some cases, somebody's just going to watch an automotive review because they're interested in buying that car, but they might not necessarily click on anything else that you have because they were just interested in like the Ford Mustang, for example. So because of that, it can impact the amount of people that are coming back to your channel and things like that. But when you are dialing everything in for like a certain type of viewer, then in that case, it's like, hey, I'm trying to reach people that just love watching things about cars, reviews. So therefore, maybe I'm not necessarily talking in the video about making the purchase. Maybe I'm just talking about all the cool features that it has as an example, or all the cool stuff it can do. But I would definitely, take those things to heart, so to speak. You're putting out shorts on a regular basis. That is cool. See what you got here on the popular ones. So you got you talking, free supercharging. That's good. The hood, battery low. So it looks like some of this stuff, your higher performing shorts, are about electric cars, maybe. Hold on, battery low. Not sure what that is. But just keep in mind when it comes to shorts, everybody here. So shorts are starting to show up in search results in YouTube TV in America, or not YouTube TV, but in anybody watching videos on a TV. So because of that, just keep in mind when it comes to like your shorts titles and stuff, of course, the shorts shelf is going to be the win, but you can also win big in search as well. So just consider that with some of your titles, making sure you're adding descriptions, things like that to hopefully get you to show up there. Okay, we'll skip that. Oh, you are actually streaming, a bit here as well. All things Fisker. Okay. Yeah, I got a buddy of mine that makes this type of content. You might be familiar with this channel. It's E for Electric. Alex is his name. He focuses on like electric cars. Let's see here. Check your community feed. Yeah, you're doing all the stuff, man. Like, you're doing the thing. I think that you need the most work on your thumbnails themselves and, thumbnails in the titles, making sure that things are just, clear and easy to read. And then also just kind of making sure that the content that you're putting out is going out to, the right people that you're trying to target with your videos. Because at the end of the day, if you can get people coming back to the channel, a lot, then that's going to be extremely helpful for you to like kickstart additional content, which can help the videos, perform better. So because of that, just trying to dial that in to make sure that you are serving the right audience with the mixture of content that you're putting out. So we're going to move on to another channel just because I've spent some time on this one. So we're going to go to another one and try to get somebody else's channels up here. But as a heads up, for anybody that I pull your channel up here, during these streams, if you have any questions or you need clarity on any of the things that I talk about or any of the recommendations that I give you, because I pull your channel up here, if any of those questions pop up, just shoot me if you don't have a Twitter account, you're gonna have to make one, but shoot me a DM on Twitter. Let me know, hey, you looked at my channel, let me know your channel. And then, I'll cross-reference it. And then, I'll answer any questions that you have about, the suggestions that I give if you need that clarity. Cause I know sometimes like if somebody, like in his case, he's been making videos for a while, but like in some cases, like if you're just getting started on YouTube, it's possible that I might say something that you're like, I don't even know what that is. Like, can you explain that or send me to some documentation that kind of, teaches me a little bit more about that or something like that. So if you need that, just let me know. So let's see here. Let's do Tube Spanner 99 is going to be our next hashtag here. And by the way, for those of you that are just joining us, we are looking at YouTube channels, just giving some tips, first impression, channel reviews on some things they can do better. And this is all for free, courtesy of Tube Spanner here on the Tube Spanner channel. And if you're not familiar with Tube Spanner, it's a YouTube tool. It's a tool for YouTubers that helps you in a lot of different ways. It helps you prepare and publish and promote your content. And It's got all kinds of really cool features that help you in all different aspects of your YouTube channel. So make sure that you check out tubespanner.com so you can see exactly what TubeSpanner can do for you. Okay, here we go. So I'm just waiting for a few more to come in, and then we're going to go ahead and pull this. Here we go. Drum roll. Okay, Laura Tashkovska. I hope I'm saying that correctly, Laura. So let me see. Can I just copy that? I can. Sweet. That'll make that easier. Now let me go to YouTube and pull up your channel. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so Laura, let me do a quick best practice check here. Completely safe. We're going to pull this one up on screen. Okay, first impression, bam, I just watched one of your videos, landed on your channel page. My thought is, I wonder what she's doing here. So another example of, a great place. I mean, you have it down here. I post videos, my painting process, art tutorials, events, and it kind of truncates there. So just make sure you're using that space the best. Having just a quick statement here can also be helpful if you decide to do that because it just adds clarity. Like for example, as the content creator, we assume that people watch one video and they automatically know what we do, but they don't. So because of that, when let's say somebody watches this video, they click on your name, they end up landing on your channel page and they're like, oh, I don't even know what's going on here. And this can get even more confusing when you have things like this, right? Because here you have a journey to the UN, and here you're telling me that you post painting processes, art tutorials, and cultural events. So we're going to go to something really important here. So when it comes to a YouTube channel, you are making a channel for people, right? As a human being, you are interested in a bunch of different things, right? You're interested in, in this case, you're interested in these, travels that you're doing, in these cultural events, you're interested in art, you're interested in painting, like you're interested in all of these things. Multi-passionate is, I guess what they call that. So everybody is multi-passionate. Everybody would love to upload just anything they wanted to their, YouTube channel. But when it comes to creating a YouTube channel, and if you're just uploading videos because you're like, hey, I just want to upload this, I'm using this as like storage and I just kind of share this out to like friends and family, that's fine. Disregard everything it is that I'm saying. But if you're like, I would really like to grow this channel, I'd like to, get an audience, I would like to be able to, tap into all the opportunities that are available to me on YouTube as a content creator, then in that particular case, the thing that you got to think about is you got to think about the idea that you are making a resource. Your entire YouTube channel is a resource for a certain type of viewer that's interested in a certain type of content. Okay. So what happens is if you have a channel where you're teaching people about painting and you're doing art tutorials and things like that, but then you're also taking them to like cultural events that are not related to art, or you're taking them on a vlog on your trip to the UN, then in that particular case, you're kind of breaking that relationship with that viewer because they subscribed for the art tutorials, but you're taking them to the cultural event or to the UN. Or in reverse, they subscribe for the cultural events and for your, vlog content to taking, trips to like the UN and stuff, but then you're hitting them with art content. So you're kind of breaking that, relationship with the viewer and you're putting out content that isn't relevant to them, right? So because of that, one thing that I would recommend at the very first point of action is to define like what it is that you're doing on the channel. And I see that you're like just getting started here, with what it is that you're doing. But the idea is to think like, okay, who am I actually trying to serve with this content? What is it that I'm actually trying to publish here? What is it that I actually want my channel to be known for? And then start publishing content that serves that purpose. Okay. So as an example, the reason this is so important is if you are going to do like vlog style content, that's fine. But instead of taking people to the UN, take them to like an art museum and talk about the art and talk about, the things that they would relate to instead of, this particular trip to the, UN, as long as I'm understanding, what's happening with that video, but I'm just interpreting it based on what I'm getting from the outside here. But if you are doing, varied content like that, the very first step is saying, this is what I'm trying to do. This is the audience I'm trying to serve. Therefore, I'm going to publish content that will serve them, with that. So as we keep going here, looking at stuff, art studio vlog, full painting process, plus art exhibitions and book promotion. This is a lot of things in one title. Focus your title on a thing, right? Maybe 2 things at the max. So here, art studio vlog, full painting process, that would be enough. So, here it's, take a tour of my art studio and see my full painting process, right? It's more readable, and it's just one easy to understand, statement, instead of it being like art vlog plus this, plus this, plus this, right? So it's like, hey, this is what we're doing here in this video. It's just one statement, and it's nice, clean, and clear, easy to understand. Here, shading and value exercise. So when it comes to writing titles on YouTube, you want to also make sure that everything is clear. So here you have how to draw old houses. I like that you're using at least different text than what's down here. That's definitely good, but shading and value exercise, I would add a little bit more information there in terms of like, are you using like charcoal? Are you using, paint? Are you using pencils? Like, what are you using to actually do the work? And by doing that, you're going to add clarity to the viewers as well, because what can happen, and this is something that people often don't think about, is what can happen is when you are, putting your thumbnails and your titles together, and like you're in this particular scenario where you are, where you are saying like, okay, how to draw houses, shading and value exercise. People could click on this that only draw with pencil, that are trying to learn how to draw like houses better. And when they click on this, let's say that you're drawing with charcoal, then right there, right out of the gate, those people are going to abandon the video, right? Or if it's in the other direction, if there's somebody that draws with charcoal or they paint, and then you're doing it with pencil, then right there, you're going to lose those people. So when you add that clarity, you ensure that you get more of the right people clicking on your videos, instead of people that are going to click on your videos because they're trying to learn how to draw a house, but the medium that you're using to draw the house isn't what they're using. So therefore, they end up abandoning the video, which hurts your audience retention, which therefore ends up hurting the performance of your video. So even if they're clicking on it, the video, once they get into it, if they abandon the video quickly because of their expectation when they went in, then you're working against yourself by not being clear in the thumbnail. There are cases where, being vague can be helpful. So for example, since you're doing art, let's see if I can pull up an example out of my brain really quick. So an example of that would be like, this color palette always makes for a beautiful painting, right? Then that way it's like, okay, this is about a color palette, but it's not telling me like, any details of that color palette, but it has something to do with a color palette and a painting, but they're not letting me know that information. So it's vague. So I'm going to click into it in order to get the answer, right? That would be how it would kind of wrap into your content. So you just want to make sure that you're thinking about those things when you're packaging it up. So right now, right out of the gate, 2 things that will move the needle for you. 1 is clarity. 2 is making sure that the content that you're publishing is targeted towards a specific type of viewer, and that it consistently is going after a specific type of viewer as well. Same exact thing goes here. You have, 2 and 3 point perspectives. We've got a bigger problem here that I'm going to talk about real quick too. But you have like 2 and 3 point perspectives. And here you're doing painting process, art tutorials, and culture events. So here, if you were just doing painting tutorials or just art tutorials, then you're in front of artists. If you're doing painting tutorials, then you get to grow an artist and a channel, filled with painters. So, getting a little bit more clear on that is another thing that I would recommend. You can do that over time by figuring out which content, performs better on YouTube and stuff like that based on who they're showing it to. But you can also make that decision ahead of time. But a bigger problem that I see here as well is if I zoom in on this, you have a title that's in English, and then you have a title that's in, I believe this is Russian. So if you are making titles that are bilingual like that, then you're kind of messing up who this can get recommended to. So if you are mixing languages on your channel, for anybody here that's doing this, you want to make sure that you are doing everything in one language. But if you want to make it accessible for, like, for example, if you're like, hey, I'm like, the main thing that I'm doing here, I'm trying to reach an English speaking market, but I want to make this accessible for Russians all over the world that speak Russian. Then in that particular case, what you'd want to do is you'd want to optimize, and you would want to create the content and optimize the content and publish it in English. And then you want to go into your translation features that you have in your captions, and your metadata, and you want to translate those into Russian. And if you speak both languages, YouTube now has a feature where you can upload audio dubs. So what you want to do there is you want to make the dub of Russian, and then you would upload the Russian audio. You would have the Russian metadata, and the only difference would be that your thumbnail would be in English, but you can remove the text and just focus on the drawing itself. But with that, what will happen is the English audience will be the first people that it'll get in front of, so to speak, but then it'll also get presented to people that speak Russian, and their experience will be the title, description, and other metadata that you translate will all be in Russian. So that's all they're going to see. They're not even going to see the English version. Then when they click into the video, YouTube is going to, by default, serve them the audio language that is the language that they're consuming content in. So they don't have to click on anything. They don't have to change anything. YouTube is automatically going to present everything to them in the native language that you've translated everything to in those areas. So because of that, you want to optimize everything for like the target market, but then you want to open it up for accessibility through all their different translation options. Excuse me. Another thing is here you have master line drawing in minutes. So here it looks like you're like standing on stage, like talking about something. Instead, try to, illustrate this a little bit better. Like I wouldn't have you in this particular photo. If you did, I would put you like over here somewhere or over here. And then I would focus more on like some of the, line drawing or some of the material maybe that, is like a checklist of line drawing or something like that. Since you are, showing people how to actually do it. Another problem with this is a disconnect. So you have master line drawing in minutes, discover the secret steps. But then I look at the timestamp and I see that minute is now an hour and 23 minutes. So right out of the gate, it's like you're promising that I'm going to be able to do this in minutes, but you're actually doing it in almost an hour and a half. So because of that, one thing that I would consider doing here is, since you are doing this long content, you might actually want to sample some of this out, as long as you can put it together and actually download this live stream or download this longer video and try to make it into a shorter thing that would actually fit into like a handful of minutes, so that content is a little bit more accessible there also. Yeah, same thing here with the Russian. Honestly, I believe, because you got 78 videos, that's a lot of content, and you have 182 subscribers from those 78 videos. I'm going to guess that one of the biggest things messing your channel up right now or holding your channel back is that you're uploading content, and it's still public on your channel. You're uploading content in multiple languages, and it's kind of confusing. It's confusing everything. And you're mixing in, content that isn't like relevant to your value proposition or isn't serving your value proposition. I think all of those things are working against you. And I think if you can get those fixed up, I think your channel will start doing way better. That's my recommendations for you. And we're going to do another one here. But give me a second here. I'm going to drink some coffee here real quick. And
if you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. Let's see. And one thing I'm going to look for here really quick. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to show this to you guys really quick before we do this next channel. So this right here, because I keep telling you about the like browser extension stuff with TubeSpanner. I actually have a video in here that I can show you.
The TubeSpanner browser extension will help you in multiple ways as a content creator. The Upload Assistant will help you upload and optimize your videos more efficiently by utilizing customizable upload templates and smart tokens so you can insert very specific elements into your description when you need them. The AI title generator will give you options for your titles, which can sometimes help you make them better. And it doesn't stop there. You can also schedule your videos to be promoted across your social media accounts. You can take notes on educational videos, competitor videos, or even make chapters for your videos. The thumbnail preview tool will help you see what your thumbnails look like embedded into the different pages of YouTube, so you can see how your thumb stands out against a sea of other videos before you even publish. And those are just a few of the many powerful features you'll find in the TubeSpanner browser extension. And there's even more inside of the tubespanner.com website. Go ahead and get the extension installed, and welcome to TubeSpanner. We're looking forward to helping you grow your influence online.
All right, so the next hashtag is TubeSpanner11. And really quick, I saw somebody asking if you can buy these mugs. So this is a StreamYard mug. It is huge. Like if you compare this to other mugs, I don't think I have any. One second, I'm gonna see if I have any. Ow! Ah! Hey, a little quick tip for everybody. If you use green screen for one live stream and then you like quickly drop it for another live stream, try to remember that you did that so you don't stub your toe on it when you're trying to go find a smaller coffee cup. Just a little pro tip. Okay, yeah, I don't have any mugs. They're all, yeah, all the other mugs are downstairs at the moment for the music video. I put them in the cabinet instead of bringing them back up here. So because of that, no mug comparison right now. Man, that just racked my toe. Holy cow. Yeah, that was a doozy. Lesson learned there. Whew. Man, yeah, I guess not a pro tip, Jerry, right? Jerry's like, pro tip question mark? Yeah, apparently not. Right? Apparently not. Yeah. Whew. Oh, I learned the hardware on that one. I know. Stub my toe for nothing, right? That's the truth, Goth Farmer. Man. Okay, so I'm going to give just like a couple more here. Yeah, I had to struggle. Circle H Scuba says, when I stub my toe, there's nothing but profanities. It was close. It was close. If it was on my channel, they might have came out. Yeah, that was pretty close. Yeah, my toe's numb, actually, right now. I cranked it. It was like a full swing into the green screen here. Man. Whew. Hey, Nick, do you put all 5 fingers in that handle? No, it's actually like it's a 3-finger handle. But if you are a thumber and a pinkier, because I know some people are, I learned that in the live stream that we did with my brother last Saturday, which we're doing again tomorrow, by the way, on my channel. But it's you can definitely do that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and draw this. We're at 77, so let's just pull these down, see who gets their channel pulled up here. While that's pulling, I'm gonna go ahead and get YouTube ready for the sake of saving you guys time. And it looks like we got Anderson's Smoke Show. Anderson's Smoke Show. All right. Hey, so Anderson, really quick. So I see, like with your branding and everything, I love it on your channel art. But when it comes to your profile picture, you like in search, it actually comes up fine. So you're okay. But, like if you wanted it to stand out more in like chat and stuff like that, if you're active, all the time on YouTube, leaving comments, stuff like that, then focusing this like on like the imagery without the text, it's fine. It's fine. Just leave it. It's okay. But just doing that because you can't really read the text anyway. But I got your channel pulled up here. Go ahead and do this. First off, congratulations on 63,000 subscribers on your channel. I'll probably spend a little bit of time on yours. We'll see how this goes. So right out of the gate, Smoke Show, precision engineered barbecue. I think that's fantastic. I would make that a little bit more prominent just for the people that hit your channel page because, with the traffic that you're getting, there's probably, a decent amount of people hitting your channel page. So because of that, you definitely need to be a little bit more serious about your channel page compared to, somebody that's just starting out. Another thing is I see you have bit.ly links here and I'm not sure where these are going to. So since these don't have any clarity on them, unless we're on your About Me page, let's see, Amazon, Instagram. Yeah, those are fine. But I would really kind of focus this on what's the most important to you. So like, for example, if you are trying to just grow your Facebook account, then having that up front's fine. But instead of just having Facebook and letting it put the text in here, I would do like, connect on Facebook or follow on Facebook or, put like a direct, man, my toe. Oh, the whole bottom of my foot hurts, side of my toe hurts or foot. But basically make it, like an actual call to action instead of it just being like, hey, Facebook. So it's like, connect with me here, follow me on Facebook, anything like that to where you put a real call to action there. Is definitely something that I would do there based on whatever your goals are. And okay, nice. So one thing to think about here as well is I see that you are, trying to, kind of sell something here, which is cool. I love that you have it above the fold there. But you can also use this in your case, since this is in the non-subscribe spot, to go ahead and put like a, subscribe call to action or something like that in this particular area as well, if you wanted to. As we keep going down, check out my latest videos. That's perfect. Here, I would actually put barbecue if you're doing, barbecue stuff. Check out my latest barbecue videos just so it lands a little bit harder, so to speak. Anderson Smoke Show is constantly releasing content. We want to stay up to date. This playlist features my newest barbecue content. So everything that you're doing, I would just make sure it's like barbecue, 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 like just you can't overdo it enough, right? Barbecue, 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 latest barbecue videos, latest barbecue reviews, latest barbecue, this, that, and the other thing. So then that way it's like crystal clear. Let's see here. Camp Chef Pallet Grills. Master Built Gravity Series. So what is this? Let's see here. Bacon wrapped meatballs. So, it's dedicated to the Master Built Gravity Series 560. Okay, so is that a grill, I'm guessing? Okay. So this is one where, kind of modifying these. So if this is featuring like the grill, then in that case, like food made with the Master Built Gravity series would be something to where, because just so you know, playlists show up. They sometimes show up in search. Sometimes they show up getting recommended next to other videos. So what you want to think about is where you have Master Built Gravity series, that's like one layer to where it's informative, like, hey, has something to do with that. But then if it's like, food made with that, then in that particular case, if somebody saw that in search, then it might be a little bit more, like kind of enticing for them. So I would definitely, consider that with your titles here. The fried pizza oven, same thing here, food made with the, pizza oven, since that seems to be what you're doing. If it was like just reviews of it, oh no, it's not, because it's not food made with it. You're also doing like how to clean it and stuff. Okay, so we're good there. 2 years ago, okay. 8 months, 1 year, smoked barbecue ribs, fantastic. I've worked with 2 barbecue channels, by the way. Both of them, one of them just recently crossed 100,000, but one of them is like 300 and something thousand now. Met both of them. One of them he had, I think, just over 1,000 subscribers. The other one had like 5,000. Now they're crushing. But yeah, the barbecue niche is fantastic. Just regular videos here. So just as a heads up, you're kind of duplicating this since you're doing like your recent videos up here and then you have your videos down there again. Since you are duplicating that one, I would find another categorical thing that you can add here. Hot Foods, YouTube channel covering gun reviews. Okay, that's fine. So one thing to consider here, it's probably a crossover audience, but one thing that can happen, just so you know, is if you end up sending people from this channel over to this channel, and if they are not 100% perfectly aligned as the right audience for that other channel, you can actually work against yourself a little bit and make the other channel harder to grow. And the reason that happens is because YouTube uses the data that they collect on each individual video to identify the right people to show the content to based on the people that respond to it at the highest level. So what happens is the people that are interacting with this, that are interested in like the food, the grills, all that stuff, some of them will cross over. But if you get a lot of people going to that channel to support it just because they love you and your content, but they won't really watch that, but they're doing it because they think it's the right thing to do, like, hey, I'm just going to go support them and subscribe to this channel, then what can happen is you get an inflated subscriber base on that channel, but the activity that you get on that channel, it ends up being lower. The videos don't perform as well as they should because YouTube is showing them to the wrong people, right? Based on the audience that it understands from the people watching here. So over time, it'll correct, but the more people that you send over there, the longer you're prolonging that process. So just as a heads up there about that. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, let's go to I'm just going to do a quick, best practice check on you here really quick. Barbecue backyard in your right place, recipes, grills, all of that is good. I would even fill this out a little bit more, talking about barbecue, maybe the different types of food you make, things like that. Keep all this, but I would do all of that as well. That can help your channel actually come up and search for like other things as well. Community tab, 13 hours ago. Good, you're using this. And you're pushing into other videos. So so here's something to consider as well, just because you're getting more traffic. So when it comes to sharing videos in here, experiment with sharing videos and experiment with sharing playlists. So when it comes to playlists, you can either share a playlist that you already have, like, hey, these are my best cooking or my best, recipes or, whatever. And then you share that playlist, or you can custom design a playlist for the purpose of sharing. So for example, if you're like, hey, these are like my 3 best videos on this particular grill. These are my 3 best videos on this particular, way to, do this barbecue, whatever, on, ribs or, briskets or whatever. Then in that particular case, you put them together and then you try to drive people into that playlist. And then that way you can like multiply the views. Cause like, for example, let's see, like this one here, you got 7 months ago. So I thought it had more on it 2 hours ago. Okay. So one thing, just as a heads up, I wouldn't publish your community feed like right when you publish a video, because I see that you're kind of using this as a way to kind of jumpstart the video maybe. Let the video do its own thing. And then if you're going to share it in your community feed as a way to kind of just make sure that it gets out in front of more people, then in that case, I would share it like several hours later. So then that way the regular recommendations can go out. Let me explain why. If let's say somebody is on their mobile device or they're on a computer, and there's somebody that's really into your content, what's going to happen is YouTube is likely to show them your community feed, and they're likely to show one of your videos, that video, because it's new. So what can happen is they're going to have that choice to click on one of them, and they'll click on either one or the other, which will negatively impact the other one. So because of that, like, put it out, let the video kind of do its thing, and then give it at least a handful of hours. I would do it the next day, and then do that share. And then that way, people have already interacted with that video, and then you're getting it out there, for people that may not have seen, that or gotten the notification or whatever. So I would give that a little bit of space there. But the fact that you're putting videos in here, fantastic. Keep doing that. Consider the playlist idea. Then that way, what you're doing is you are driving people into like sets of content based on a specific thing. And really quick, when I posted that, it was when it went live for channel members. I don't know what they're more likely to see, the community post or the notification, assuming they're turned on. Yeah, like if it's not turned on, if they don't have the notifications turned on, then of course they're not going to matter in terms of it actually like hitting one of their devices or something like that. But when they log on to YouTube, then the system, will still prioritize it based on, who's the most engaged. And if somebody's really engaged in what it is that you're doing, it's likely they're going to see both of those things. That's why you want to give a little bit of room there. And it kind of, works against you a little bit there too, because like, let's say they watch that video and then you share this and then they're going to, see that video again. They're not going to respond to it anyway. So it's kind of like, one way to get it out to people that might not have, been recommended that video, but they interact with your channel, in other ways. So therefore YouTube's going to show them your community post as an example, compared to like, hey, I'm just dumping everything out here like right now. It's just giving yourself that space so that you can, get them possibly recommended to different people. Or as an example, like let's say that you publish your video at, let's say like 9 a.m. Eastern your time, just as an example. And then that's going to go out to the people that are on the platform, like at that moment in time to, get data for that, to, understand who the right people are to show it to for the system. And then from there, then if you publish that at like 9, then maybe you do your community feed the next day, maybe like a few hours later, or maybe a few hours earlier. And then that gives you the opportunity to actually get in front of, different people that would be on the platform at that time compared to the people that were on the platform when you first published the video. So I'd consider that also. Let's see here. Yeah, I love that you're adding images in here for the sake of the connection there, polls, like you're doing the thing there. All that's fantastic. I would definitely share more videos. The reason I would share more videos is because this is a way to bring more people back into your channel. Just an easy way to just bring people back in, keep them engaged. And also, like the people, like you published this video 2 hours ago, the people that are interacting with that, if you've had any new people subscribe to that and they're in there looking at your channel right now and things like that, what you can do is you can go back into older content that is proven to perform on your channel in terms of like, high click-through rate, high audience retention. Once they get to the end of your videos, they're clicking on your end screens, watching more content, stuff like that. Go find those videos and then start sharing some of those on a regular basis. And the idea there is like, hey, if you're new to the channel, especially if your channel is growing quickly, hey, if you're new to the channel, these videos have done really great. I've gotten a lot of great responses from these in the past. So check them out. And that's another one. You could just drive them into a playlist if you want, or you can just share them, individual videos. But the idea is you pick those videos that are proven to perform at a high rate and you actually leverage that performance as a way to that when people see that, they respond to it. So then that's a way to, bring activity back into your channel by leveraging the content that's already proven to perform. So, so I would definitely consider doing that a little bit more as well, because this one's like a month ago, and then you just did this one now. So like you're not doing that very often. So if you are like, hey, I'm trying to get as much as I can out of this in terms of like growth or, revenue or whatever, then in that case, taking those actions to drive people into your content more is a win. And another thing too, with sharing playlists, just so you understand like why I'm explaining the things that I am. And like I mentioned, I'm going a little bit longer on yours just because you're already in motion here. But the reason that you want to, I completely forgot what I was saying. The reason you want to share playlists, from time to time instead of videos, or all the time, your call, and you want to design custom playlists based on videos that are proven to perform, get people to the end, click on other videos and stuff, is because the more videos somebody watches in a session on your channel, the higher the likelihood that they get recommended more of your content from your archive, and the higher the likelihood that they're going to get recommended your new content as well. If they just watch one video and they have high satisfaction, or the system detects high satisfaction from that video, then they're likely to get recommended your content anyway. But if they watch more than one video, then you're increasing the likelihood of them getting recommended more videos, which then can help you long term, right? That's the idea. So let's see here. Let's go over into playlists. Making a lot of playlists. That's fantastic. Live streams, stream month ago, Christmas stuff. Okay, so these are doing okay too. Like live streaming isn't a requirement in any way, shape, or form. I'm just kind of seeing what you're doing there. But just as a heads up though, when it comes to your live streams can, serve your current viewership, but it can also get in front of new viewers as well. So since all of your content, at least the content that I've seen so far, since it is about, like barbecuing and cooking and, grills and all of that, when you are putting your imagery together for everything, then you also want to make sure that you are using that type of imagery as well, even if you're in the thumbnail. So like, for example, here, right, you have you in the thumbnail, but the rest of this, right, giveaway, update, and live chat, that's great. And if this shows up on a homepage, people might come in just because there's like a giveaway involved. But what you really want is you want people that are interested in barbecue and grills and what it is that you're actually doing to be clicking on these. So because of that, the thing that you want to think about is instead of saying like, hey, I'm going to do this giveaway, update, and like live chat, instead have like you in here so your viewers can identify that it's you, and then have like food imagery or grill imagery or whatever in the background so that the only people coming into that are people that are already familiar with you, because those are the people that you actually want to give stuff away to, right? People that are already in your community. And then from there, that also gives you the opportunity to connect with new people that are relevant to the content that you're making, instead of having people come in for the giveaway that don't even care about the actual content that you're making, because that's not what they normally watch. So when you start thinking about, okay, this packaging here that I have for my live streams or even my video content, I got to make this as relevant as I possibly can towards the people that I'm trying to reach, so that I always get the right people clicking on my content. That's why, like, everything that I publish, you'll typically see, like, if it's about YouTube, then you'll see that I'll either have like the YouTube logo in it, or I'll have the word YouTube, or I'll have YouTubers, or, I'll have imagery, but then I'll have, the word YouTube or YouTubers in the title. And the reason for that is because I just want YouTubers clicking on my stuff. And by doing that, it ensures that YouTube is going to continue showing my content to YouTubers and people that are watching content about YouTube. So you want the same exact thing to happen to you. And by doing that, it will ensure that almost all of the people interacting with your content are the right people for what it is that you're doing. And then from there, you just have to, figure out different ways to serve them, in the best way that you can. Let's see here. So we already did shorts. So let's go to your video content. So in your case, how you're focusing on the imagery here, like this is great. On this one, this is good. Focusing really heavy on the imagery. Yeah, killing it right here. So what I've been explaining throughout this entire live stream about focusing on the imagery that will help attract the viewers, that help people identify that your content's about something they care about. He's killing it right here with this. So you can see right here, it's just a big focus on the steak, right? Focus on the food, focus on the food, focus on the food, food. And he's got 61,000 subscribers because he's doing the right thing, right? So he's helping the people that he's trying to reach identify that his content is about something that they care about. So just kind of take this for everybody here that's trying to get to that point. Just take this as an example of the right way to do that. Let's see, let's look at your titles: double smoked ham, Camp Chef, XXL Pro, pellet smoker. So I'm not sure what you're doing in this content itself, but if you are actually making it, and the thing is about making the food and not about the, devices or whatever that you're using, then in that particular case, letting them know that here in the title can also be advantageous. So it's like, like here, hold on, easy baby back ribs in the oven, the perfect oven ribs. Like here, how you added the perfect oven ribs, that makes it just that a little bit more, compelling to it, to where you just add that additional information. Same with the easy on here. But I would make sure that you're, considering that with all of the titles that you're putting together, which it looks like you mostly are, with some of these. But definitely, compared to your other videos, this one isn't doing that well. So one thing that I would definitely do, and I know this was 3 months ago, but based on what's going on here, I would go in and I would look at the retention on these. I would look at click-through rate on these. And I would go in and I would change these, because for your channel, for your type of content, these are like underperforming. So I would definitely go in and try to understand why, test your thumbnails, test your titles, change those up a little bit, see if it makes a difference. Instead of doing like a top angle, and I know that you've already cooked this, it's way gone. But if you do have like, screenshots or anything from the actual video that you can pull from, maybe a different angle, maybe a close up, maybe, something like that. But I would definitely start experimenting with these ones that underperform, because you have traffic coming into the channel, right? 4 weeks ago, 16,000, a month ago, 35,000, a month ago, 171. People are coming into your channel right now based on, these content, at least, the new stuff. So because of that, I would look at all of the content in your channel that's currently bringing in viewers, and I would make sure that you are topically making videos that are serving those people, which you are, right? You're following this stuff up with this, which is the good thing. But I would make sure that topically, you're serving them with, relevant content, because if this content right now is like the primary traffic drivers to your channel, these people are going to want more of this type of content, right? So just for like a series of time, I would make sure that you are doubling down on like whatever this is. I would double down on that type of stuff. Moving forward for a period of time, at least make it part of your regular cadence of publishing videos. But on any of these that underperformed, I would go in and mess with them. So one thing I want to bring to your attention, and I don't know if you can see this or not, because everybody's, like when we're looking at things, everybody sees different stuff. I've done photography, I've done graphic design, I've done, lots of video, I've done internet marketing. So because of that, I look at things in a certain way. So one thing that I can see on this particular thumbnail, and I know topic and title and video and all that stuff matters, but like with this one looks, in terms of the color, and I'm going to compare this right here directly. These two are the ones I'm comparing. So these right here, both of these actually, and this one, these look kind of like dull. And they are just kind of like the image is just kind of like washed out a little bit, where this one is just like super vibrant. The color is accurate. Like you can see like skin tone, you can see, just how vibrant this is. It just looks rich in color. And this one does too. This one's just getting started, but this one also looks nice and rich in color. It looks like it's possible that the white balance is off just a tad. But in terms of like the color, it's just nice and rich and juicy looking. Same with this one, where in comparison, like all of these look kind of dull. This one actually does too. This one performed well, but this one also looks a little bit dull. So one thing that I would do is I would take these thumbnails or the variations that you're going to do if you're going to, experiment with changing these up. And what I would do is I would open them up in either like Photoshop or Snapseed or, some type of image editor. And I would like adjust the contrast, adjust the color balance, adjust the saturation just a little bit. You don't want to make it look like unreal, but you want to make it look nice and fat and juicy, right? Just to where when they look at it, it's food people. So when they see it, you want it to be like, oh man, I want to take a bite of that, so that they'll go in and click on it. So like those little nuances, a lot of people don't consider the nuances of like, okay, does this image really like pop with this? And in your case, I would go into all of these videos that are underperforming for you. And that would be like step one. I'm going to change the title because here it's Don't Ruin This $85 Steak. So I'm going to change that title to something that might be a little bit more compelling, depending on what you said when the video first starts. And then I would spend some time working on the image or changing the image to try to match that like nice juicy look. And I would actually go through like any of the videos that underperformed for you. I would go through and I would start messing with them. I'd start trying to make them pop a little bit. Some of those tools that I was talking about, like Photoshop, Snapseed, all of them, they actually have a sharpening version or a sharpening or clarity, depending on which tool you're using. And with them, you can actually like really like bring the details out as well. That's definitely something that I would do because your space, the competition's fierce. And like all the tips I'm giving you is stuff that I've given to other barbecue channels that now have play buttons. So like, I mean, you've already got, you're going to get there. It's just a matter of time, but like you can accelerate that. And I would definitely be like getting into the nuance of what it is that you're doing because you already make good content. You've proven that by the content on your channel, by the growth that you've had. Now it's like, okay, now let's get into the dirt and let's get into the nuance of this and really try to amplify, what's going on with the channel. Yeah. Another thing too, with like, don't ruin this $85 steak. I would experiment with that title too. I would change that to something completely different than this. Like the idea is there, but I would definitely change up that title as well. But yeah, so I spent some time on here. One thing I'm actually going to look at here really quick as well. And just as a quick heads up, this is an efficiency thing. We talked about this on my monetization stream that I did on my channel yesterday. So if you have a website, I don't know if you do, but if you have a website for your channel, you might want to start bouncing these off of your website instead, because in the event, like they're probably fine. They're probably not going to go anywhere, at least not for a long time. But in the event that Bitly goes down or they sell and they change their links or anything like that, you're going to be in a world of hurt coming in and like changing all these links up. If you make them to where you bounce them off your site, then in that case, you can actually go into like if you use WordPress, you make the site, and then you put like an affiliate plugin in there, then you can actually redirect these through that affiliate plugin. And then in the event that something goes down like Bitly, then you can just go in and change the links there instead of having to go through every single video and like find, where they're at there. So I would definitely get that in place when you get the chance. Also here, double smoke cam chef, pro pellet smoker. I would get that information. You've got it right down here, but I would get that information right up here as well, because some of this stuff, people are going to be like searching for it. And even though you're probably going to do great in recommendations, you also want to make sure that you do have those little elements in here that can also help you show up in search a little bit easier as well. So I would make sure that all of your descriptions, whatever it is that you have in your title, I would make sure that all of your descriptions in the first sentence or two, that they all have, like here it'd be like, oh yeah, like I made this, or I made this delicious double smoked ham. It only took me about this long. One of the things that I really like about, smoking ham or smoked ham, is, the flavors that I end up with, blah, blah. I made this on the Camp Chef XXL Pro, pellet smoker. I've been using this pellet smoker for X amount of time, and you do the keyword research. And by doing that, one of the things that it helps you with is, you're going to get recommendations anyway based on the content, but it also can help you increase your likelihood of showing up in YouTube search when people are looking for like double smoked ham, right? So because of that, just optimizing everything for the sake of, hey, I'm going to get recommendation traffic and I'm mainly going for that. But I also want to make sure that, I give myself the best possible chance of also showing up in search if people are looking for, these things. So I would definitely do that as well. Is there any better? Double smoked ham, kick comes everything. All that's good. Affiliate links. Don't start a dirty grill. Get yourself a thing. Okay, all that's fine. Camp Chef. Okay, so one thing I'm going to check in your case specifically here is I'm just going to do a quick hashtag check on these, make sure these are relevant. Okay, good there. Good there. You're actually showing up there already. That's great. Then here, Camp Chef. Okay, all that's good too. Okay, yeah, so you're good there on the hashtags. Okay, so one opportunity that you're missing is, and I'm not sure if you're doing this, I'm actually going to go look at a more important video here. Well, I won't say more important. Who knows how that one's going to go. But okay, so right here, you have a lot of activity coming in on this video. You have 171,000 views. So one thing that you need to do right now, like as soon as I finish saying this, or as soon as I'm done looking at your channel, you need to go do this. Write a comment, right? So these people here, they're watching a video on easy oven baked beef short ribs. So you know your audience, you know the type of content that they enjoy, you know the other videos that are on your channel, all of that, right? So what you want to do is you want to think of the videos, let's say 1, 2, maybe even 3 videos that would be a perfect fit on your channel for the people that are watching a video about oven baked short ribs. And then you want to say, if you enjoyed this video, I've got these other videos, spell it out for them, right? I've got, check out this, I put together this list of other, short ribs or, whatever it is, for this particular viewer. I put together this video or this, list of videos for you. Just pick 3. I put together this list of videos for you that you're going to absolutely love. Check it out here. And then put a link to that playlist. And the reason you want to do this on this video is because, as you can see, you've had 159 comments, but you've also had a lot of people that have come down here and they've just looked, but they haven't participated. This is going to be an additional link for people to go and find more content in your channel. So when you have high performing content like this, one thing that can happen and that you see on your end, and for all of you new people here, you can hear in terms of the information I'm sharing here, they're getting a little bit different information than what I typically share. And that's because they're already in motion. Things are already going good. So I'm giving them different versions of information to help, them with where they're at. But basically what you want to do here is that, because the activity that's coming in here, you want to try to get as many of these people to watch more content. The reason that you want to do this is because the more people that click into more of your content from this video will do even better. Because what will happen here, which is what's currently happening as well, people are clicking on this at a competitive rate. They're watching it at a competitive rate. It's likely that you have people that are getting to the end of your video that are also clicking on your end screen elements. And I hope that you're using them because some creators don't use them. I hope that you are. But then you're also going to have this pinned comment down here where the people that are looking in the comment section can also see that recommendation and go to other videos as well. In addition to that, you want to make sure, if you're not, I'm going to check right here in a second to make sure you're using end screens. You want to make sure that the videos that you do have linked in the end screens are relevant to the viewer that's watching this. Okay. So the idea, just to refresh that, write a comment. In that comment, sell it a little bit in terms of why they should click on that, and make sure that you're thinking first of the viewer and the relevance to the content you're recommending to the content they're watching, and then put that playlist in here and pin it. Then, as long as this is still getting a lot of views, what I want you to do after you do that is, in like 2 days, go and look at the real-time stats, or just go look at the stats on the videos that you recommended, and you'll see a spike in viewership in those as well. And depending on the videos that you choose to put in there, if they're already high-performing videos in terms of people watching them all the way to the end as well, then you could create a situation to where you're really taking people deep. And if you do, that can cause the other videos in that playlist and this video to do even better and get more views even faster. So I would definitely get all of that stuff in order like right now. Just, while this is still hot. I know this is 2 months ago, but if you're still getting that traffic, I would do that like right out of the gate. And if you are not getting that traffic still, if this one's kind of died off, then what you want to do is anytime you notice that your videos are starting to do well, you want to do that stuff. But right now, like all the videos on your channel should have pinned comments recommending people other content on your channel. And when you do that, you're going to instantly see like some of those videos are going to start getting additional views right away. Some of those videos are going to start getting more ad views, which is going to increase your ad rates. When people watch more than one video, they're more likely to subscribe to your channel. So you might even see a subscriber peak, or not peak, but like a subscriber growth there in that video too. So I would definitely get on that like right away. Double smoked ham. Okay, so right now this is just recommending the newest video on your channel. So this can be okay to drive traffic to that new video to kind of get that going, or it's recommending the best for viewer. So it's you either have it in one of those two sections. So the next thing to think about here is I would add one more element here. If you want to keep this one, it's fine. But I would add one more element here that's a playlist of other videos that you think the viewer that's watching the oven baked beef short ribs video would love to watch. It can be the same playlist that you add here, but basically just create a playlist of like 3 videos, pin it here, and then add it to your end screen here for when they get to the end of your video so that they have that to go and watch as well. And if you do that, and if people respond to that playlist, this video could do extremely well, but at the very least, it'll be a feeder in any of your videos that are driving a lot of traffic like that. You want to do the same exact thing, but it will at least be a feeder for other videos on your channel. And it's going to increase the likelihood of a lot of those people getting a lot more recommendations from your channel as well, from your archive of videos that you've already made and from the new videos that you put out on your channel. All right. All right. So congratulations again on that, your success, all of that. If you have, just like everybody else, that I've looked at your channels, if you have any questions about any of that, just make sure, because you don't have a Twitter account up here. But if you do have a Twitter account, make sure that you, just shoot me a message, a DM if you need any clarity on anything that I mentioned. But one other thing that I do want to bring to your attention as well is I did notice that you also don't have other videos that you're linking here. So as a channel that's getting traffic, okay, this is different than channels that are just trying to get going and they're getting like 100 views per video. Your scenario is different. So what you want to think about when it comes to your video descriptions, and you can use TubeSpanner for this because they have an upload assistant where you have you can just select from a drop down videos that you want to put into your description. But basically what you want to do is you want to make sure that all of your descriptions also from all of your videos moving forward You want to make sure that you are also recommending additional content, because when people come to your channel, in addition to having your pinned comments, in addition to making sure that you're linking, relevant content in your end screens, you also want to make sure that for the people that hit your description, I know the priority is sending them to like affiliate links and stuff like that. But you are going to have some people that aren't going to click on those, but you want to try to get some of them to also click on the videos from your description so that you can also increase the views that you're getting as well. So when you're getting a lot of traffic, what you have to make sure that you're thinking about, and for, all of you that are just getting started, you have to think about this as well, is like when you start getting traffic, what that means is you are going to start having a lot of people interacting with your YouTube channel. So when that happens, what will typically happen is content creators will say, you know what, this is awesome. I'm getting all these views. This is great. I'm just going to make more videos. But the first thing you should do when you start having, that surge in traffic is step back and say, okay, if I was a viewer interacting with this content, what can I do to make it easy for people that are already interacting with my content and enjoying it? What can I do to make it easy for them to find more of my content? And the way that you do that is making sure that your channel page is structured with content, with playlist added as sections on your channel page based on the content that is currently performing on the channel. You prioritize that first. Then you make sure you have pinned comments, make sure you're using end screens, you make sure that you're using end screens that are where you're intentionally directing people to content, and then that's priority. And then from there, you can also add best for viewer, new video, whatever you prefer. But making sure that you're using cards, where you need to, things like that, in order to make it easy for people to hop from video to video. Super important. And when you take that step out and you're like, okay, so a lot of people are watching this video, what would be a playlist that I could make that would be relevant to them? I'm going to link it here, here, and here. And when people start taking that flow, it can make a substantial difference to the performance of your YouTube channel. So make sure that you are, thinking in that way as you start to, get more traffic on your channel. So just as a reminder, because we are here on the TubeSpanner channel, TubeSpanner, for those of you that are just joining us, is a tool for YouTube content creators. Helps you in a bunch of different ways. Helps you with uploading your videos. It's not like a search tool or anything like that, but it helps you in terms of just, working through the process easier, being able to quickly grab videos, from videos on your channel without having to actually go into your channel and dig around trying to find stuff. You can share content directly from your, from the YouTube interface, which is awesome. All kinds of helpful stuff. AI script writing tools to help you, thumbnail makers, like all kinds of really helpful stuff. Tons of tools. So make sure that you check that out at tubespanner.com. Of course, there's links down in the description as well. Anderson Smoke Show says, thanks for spending so much time on my channel. I appreciate the insight, and I'm already working on the things you recommended. Awesome. Yeah. So, let me know, report back, when you get the chance. Just kind of let me know, hey, did these things, this is what happened, or I noticed a difference, or I didn't, just let me know like how it goes. Cause I love just getting that feedback and especially when people are, doing the thing and everything's, going well. I love just helping people just kind of amplify what's happening. That's why I spent, so much time on the channel. So with all that said, thank you everybody for hanging out. We went way longer. I was going to do this for an hour, but I was like, hey, we're hanging out here. So let's just go ahead and, kind of just keep, helping people out. So we are going to be doing these again, just on a regular basis. So make sure that you are subscribed here to the TubeSpanner channel if you are not already, because we will be doing these on a regular basis. Also, because I know that I have some of my channel members in here, just as a heads up, I think I mentioned this in the news, but just in case I didn't, we're going to be doing a live stream for my channel members on Tuesday of this coming week. So make sure that you keep an eye out in the community feed for that on my channel. But for those of you that are here for the, for the channel reviews, make sure that you are subscribed here to the TubeSpanner channel. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick. I help people learn how to thrive on YouTube, or I teach people how to thrive on YouTube. So I've got links to me down in the description as well if you want to check out my main channel. And besides that, everybody have a great rest of your weekend, or a great weekend, I guess, because we're getting started. And I will see you next time.